Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner and I'm here with James Farley.
Hello.
Sean Bell.
Hello.
And the main one, Matt Murray.
Hello.
To start us off, I thought we'd do something a little bit different. We will shout out the Patreon producers this month. They are Aaron Patrick, Anthony Oakinson, Simon Nelson, Tom S., Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, and Richard Sawyer. Full Nels crew. Thank you so much for supporting us at the Full Nels tier over at patreon.com/TCGS. You can also support us if you want. If you fancy it, go to patreon.com/TCGS. There are various different tiers there, including you'll get a cheeky little bonus podcast once a month. You'll get access to our live talksovers and all that sort of stuff. So come on down and join the crew. Is that a new catchphrase?
No.
That might be a new catchphrase.
No, join the crew. Yeah, put it on a t-shirt. Let's get it on a...
I like it. Yeah, whack it on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Matt would make money out of that.
Yeah.
That reminds me, there's a shop. Go to tcgs.co and press shop at the top of that website. Buy our
shop.
t-shirts. Get on it.
I'm very jealous of your hoodie, Matt. I think I need one.
Yeah, I mean,
It's the last time I said anything nice to him. Fucking hell.
I was in the middle of drinking. Yeah, I love the hoodie. It's super thick. I mean, I can actually kind of not really wear it whilst podcasting because I'll be dripping with sweat. But
There is that.
yeah, it's very good.
Matt, I
Not.
know you are being completely honest here, but it does sound like you're bullshitting to sell it. Like you're on QVC or Price Drop TV. Oh, I love it. It's just so thick and the materials.
I think I said on the stream the other day, if anything, it's too good quality because I'm bloody sweating in this. You know what I mean?
How many are you going to wear at them at EGX?
Hoodies, I mean 0. I'm gonna have to get saving for all the t-shirts.
Chucking them into crowds and shit. Getting please hand back ironed onto the back.
Yeah.
Or just sew in like property of Matt Murray, like in every single one.
Well, no. What I'll throw them out, but I'll have like elastic, so I can throw it out and then I'll quickly like pull the elastic back.
Like those training footballs.
Yeah,
that was using,
like,
we were kids.
like if you remember the Michael Owens one when I was younger.
You've never had one of those, I assume, Sean.
Nope.
A football on a big elastic band. You used to kick it, it just come back at you and whack you in the face. It's such a stupid idea. And not only that, you had to tie it to your ankle. So you kicked the ball, but you had to like put your ankle in a position where you weren't getting it in the way, but it was also moving the ball.
Sounds
when I was younger,
insane.
I had an unofficial Michael Owen endorsed one, and basically,
that was the belt one, right?
well, no, I think if I remember correctly, it was a little plastic football boot which I held, and that had like a button on it, and I could click that for it to sort of like almost spring back. Yeah.
Oh no, that had it on a dog leash. It was like a dog leash.
Well, no, it was a little plastic football boot with a button,
Well, they changed the handle, Matt. It was a dog leash. They didn't know what to do
it's like
with
a little football boot. Anyway, yeah.
And then
Great
they
times.
had ones that you had that was stuck to a belt instead of your ankle. But obviously, you kick that and it just went straight back in your nuts every single time. It's the most ridiculous design decision ever. It's just stupid. Anyway, video games.
That's what I'm going to do with merch at the next live show. Yeah, just throw them out, click, and I'll get the plastic football boot and I'll, back to me.
Please use the belt one so the t-shirt flies straight into your nuts.
I'm
Matt,
tempted.
feedback from last week's show. What did they say? They'll love it.
They all hated it. Dean Minchin started off, Dear TCGS Holdings, open bracket Holdings, close bracket Limited Inc. Thanks, Dean.
Please keep doing this because it makes me laugh
You have
every
to tell them
time.
they've been doing it since we did the rebrand. I'm dreading. I mean, God knows what Maria Mendieta has written when her message comes up. Bloody hell!
I'm going to cheat. I'm going to
Dear-
scan ahead and have a look. Go on.
Yeah, it's probably really bad. Dear TCGS, yeah, we've done that. Your discussion of regional accents in games in the last episode had me astonished. You didn't mention The Witcher 3. It's full of lesser heard UK accents, from Welsh infantrymen to Northern Irish Vikings, and yes, Scottish dwarfs. And best of all, the Bloody Baron, in fact, being the Brummy Baron. More Brummies in gaming, please.
Before you do the PS, right? We had a ton of these.
Yes.
We did, yeah.
Honestly, Sean, do you not you don't like read them when they come up on the, like they don't register with you the regional accents, no?
Yeah. Like, obviously, when reading all these examples, I was like, oh yeah, no, I guess they did, but they're never. They're never main characters, are they?
No, that is a good point as well. I would love it if it was like the main character in it. That would be
like,
great.
there's loads of northern accents in this one with all like village peasants in it and shit. Oh yeah, they've all got northern accents. So what's the problem?
Same could be said about Cockney, couldn't it?
Yeah, true.
There's not many lead English characters. Full stop.
Mate, didn't you play the guest
Sean, are you saying this is a class thing?
Come on.
It could well be a class thing. Yeah. Stereotyping, mate.
I think it definitely is. Yeah.
How many Scouse accents have we had in games?
Very few.
Too many. It's like, go on, do the PS.
Before we get to the PS of Dean, I showed you Dean's PS, and then go on to the other ones related to the accents.
Please do Dean's PS.
Let's do Dean's PS. PS. David isn't thinking of an urban myth with the javelin thing. I have distinct memories.
Was he the kid? Was he the kid at my school?
Well, there's pictures and it's horrendous. I have distinct memories of watching mid-90s Michael Burke real-life emergency show 999 featuring an horrific reenactment of some kid slipping while throwing a javelin and impaling himself. I saw this when I was about 7, and now over 20 years later, I can still recall it in profound and haunting detail, along with the episode where a farmer fired a bit of barbed wire into his heart while trimming a hedge.
Like Tony Stark.
PE was never the same. Keep up the good work, Dean.
That's horrific.
That is actually yeah.
It's not funny
now. That's probably where it started, though, right?
Is this viewable on
where
YouTube?
It started.
Probably.
I mean, James, what is the matter with you?
I'm just curious. Just wanted to know if it was on YouTube. I just want to check it out.
Can we this month talks over be this episode of 999?
Yes.
Patreon.com/TCGS.
I used to love 999. I used to watch that a lot.
Did you?
Bloody good show.
It's a good show.
Was it?
Yes.
Speaking of old, I was more of a police camera action man myself.
Mate,
to be honest with you,
as well. Yeah.
When Isaac was a baby, and I don't know if you guys had this when your kid was really little. Did you have a phase where you just like, I'll just watch whatever's on telly and forget that Netflix exists?
No,
I did that for a bit.
I mean, I forgot a lot of things existed actually back in the days.
I just watched loads of like police documentaries at 2 a.m. It was great.
Oh, yeah, I watched a lot of mad shit.
Yeah. I told you that we had a quiz, like one of these Zoom quizzes that everyone got tired of after the first couple of weeks of the lockdown. Yeah. I was on one of those Zoom quizzes thing, and apparently they do this type of quiz on different shows where you get a picture of a celebrity and then a description of a TV program, and then you've got to work out what the answer is. So, like an example, there was a picture of Cilla Black, and there was one of, and underneath it said, "This celebrity can't stop looking at her own reflection." And I went, okay, right, so it's Cilla Black Mirror is the answer. Right? Cilla Black Mirror, right?
That's hard.
But yeah, I know, I work with architects. And honestly,
I don't know what that means.
The amount, every single quiz I finished last on those, it was so funny. What architect designed this building? Don't even know what the building is, let alone the answer.
Was it me? Did I do it? Was that my mind?
It was Tim from finance.
So, one of the questions, there was a picture of RuPaul, and underneath it said, "This celebrity regularly gets caught breaking the law on UK highways." And the answer was RuPaul Lease Camera Action.
Fuck off!
What? But that's not a program.
I know. RuPaul Lease Camera Action.
Jesus Christ. That is actually a criminal offence, ironically enough.
Yeah. Oi, Sean's on form tonight.
Yeah, mate.
Sean's on form tonight. Right, let's see how long that lasts. Go on, Matt, next.
I'll be asleep in half an hour, don't worry.
I'm spent. I peaked too early.
Yeah, Sean's now sitting back with like smoking a fag saying, "Fucking hell, I've got 2.5 hours after this shit."
Completely drained. Although no one could tell because he looks like white anyway. God, sorry.
No, I've done it. I've done a gag in the first 5 minutes.
I've just seen who the next feedback's from. Go on, Matt.
Do we have to read this one? Because we've already... Oh, no, okay, I thought it was another Witcher one, but it's not.
It's a good shout out. So.
Okay, Geddy Dutton has emailed, re-Northern voice acting in games. Can we get a shout out for Bloodborne's Eileen the Crow? Absolute fucking legend, mate.
She is, to be fair.
No, I don't want to talk about that, really.
You had a bad time with her?
I mean, she got on the wave. I was in mid I was in mid-flow, shall we say, in combat, and she got in the way, and she might...
I see.
Was this what the thing really early on where you accidentally killed like someone important?
I'm glad you used that word. It was accidental, yeah. I mean, a lot of people now sort of think it was on purpose. It wasn't. It was very much...
Thing is, the way, so she has like a Northern English accent, but she always refers to herself as like the hunter of hunters, doesn't she? But like in the subtitles,
I don't know. I chopped it down so quick, Sean. I could barely hear a word she said.
I didn't get a single word out. But in the subtitles, it's like apostrophe OONTERS, like unter of unters. That's not how she talks. Whatever.
I will say this, Matt. I can't believe like people saying that you did that on purpose and not by accident. I fully believe you did that on accident. I mean, I've seen you play a lot of games and you never look in control of what you're playing. So that is not true. Been on accident.
Oh no, okay. No, I misheard. Yeah, no, that is true, yeah. Mark, evening boys. Last week you were discussing regional accents in games. Forgive me if I... Look, this is the last one, I think, related to this.
It's exactly the same as the first one. Why are you reading? It's exactly the same. It makes all the same points.
Oh yeah, I hadn't.
Let's hear it.
I just got it and pasted now. It's not,
James, can you just go ding when it repeats a point? Go on, James. Go on, Matt,
reading it, it's as if the same person thought, I'll send the same email under two different names and reword it a bit.
Yeah.
Just to double the chances of it getting read out.
Let's just get through this and we'll move
Matt
on.
Matt fell for it. Go on, Matt.
Forgive me if I misheard, but it was accents in just a particular game you were talking about. I couldn't be bothered to re-listen. I thought it was in general for all games. I happened to be playing The Witcher 3 that day, and they have an amazing number of UK accents from Welsh, Scottish, Cockney, and the brilliant Brummy accent.
Ding.
Even the bloody Baron is from Birmingham.
Ding.
So I just wanted to point this game out in case you boys have forgotten how well CD Projekt Red were in putting lots of accent.
Ding.
Keep up the good work. Ding. Happy gaming.
Happy gaming's new. I don't think we
had
that one before.
New. Thanks, Mark, for the 2 words of... Okay, right. This one is...
Don't have a go at Mark. It's your fault.
It is Mark's fault. He knows that. If he had listened, he would have known Dean would have responded, in the... Okay, Solvent has emailed in next. I think that's his Christian name. Or, that's his birth... Oh, fucking hell. Dave's reluctance to accept that Spider-Man PS4 is a great game is astounding. Not a AAA game, it certainly is. Much more polish... Can I finish, Dave? Much more polish and an infinitely better story than the rush to market Fallen Order. Try it, Dave. It's amazing.
Sorry, when did I not accept it was a great... I have no idea what the game's like. I haven't played it.
No, but you've always been very dismissive of it. Like, you have...
Yeah.
No, here's what's happened, right? Yep. The reason why Spider-Man's come up in my arguments, right, is that Matt went so heavy on Red Dead, and I was thinking, and he was very, he praised Spider-Man a lot. And my point has always been, how much of the criticism, the weird criticism that you gave Red Dead, can be also put towards Spider-Man? What my point is that, yeah, you can pick things and have these like minor criticisms, but you have to kind of remember that they are minor because they also appear in games that you love, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. I didn't say anything about Spider-Man being shit. I've not played it. I couldn't comment on what that game's like.
But I think there is like a genuine...
I never did. And did I ever call it not AAA?
No, you've always just been very dismissive of it.
Yeah, and it's been constant. It's a bit annoying, to be fair. It's a great game.
I'm sure it is. I've got no interest in playing it, but I'm sure it's a great game. I didn't say anything. I didn't slag the game off at all. What I was saying is that when Matt's going, the mission structure is so last gen in Red Dead, and all I was asking was, what does Spider-Man do that's so
and I think I might have said,
so
it's
fresh?
Nothing special, but it's got so many other bits.
So, right, okay,
but
that
also,
argument can also be used
actually, my
at Red
point
Dead.
stands. Like, this is not Rockstar's first game. They've done fuckloads, and the mission structure hasn't really changed.
Right, okay, so if that logic is insane, because you're saying that a new studio starting on a new genre of games can just start from the beginning and be free of that criticism that it's been done millions of times before.
So no, but not a new studio.
Yeah, well, it's not a new studio for a start, but also like a game come out, Spider-Man, they made a game, but if in Rockstar's case, they've made lots of games and the mission structure thing hasn't really changed, and I'm like, well, I like in the next game if you were to improve that or change it or mix it up a bit. That's what I wanted from Red Dead. I mean, it's a stunning game, Red Dead. It's one of the best games of all time. I would have liked.
You called it last.
In the next GTA, right? There will probably be a mission where I have to tail someone and not.
Are we back here again? Are we back here again? We had this exact same discussion 2 weeks ago, and I said, well, maybe Rockstar should drop guns and shooting.
I'm going to move on.
Let's move on.
I'm moving on. The Reasonable Gamer. There's not many of them around, but we found one.
Found him.
I mean, it is the Reasonable Gamer, so, I mean, that makes sense.
But self-proclaimed, though, so,
Regarding the chat around Lockhart, current rumours have it as a 1080p machine. The SSD and CPU are rumoured to be the same as Series X, but same as Series X has a less powerful GPU, but you're basically just giving up the 4K next-gen visuals. It's next-gen for the casual/budget market.
Yeah, when I think Sean brought this up when we were discussing about this last week, and actually listening to that point actually does make sense, because in my head I was thinking, hold on, if this thing's going to be less powerful than the Series X, than the One X, then what? Like, why would people buy that over just going out and buying a One X? Like, I don't, because we know the One X is going to be supported for a while. So, what's the point in this thing? But yeah, obviously, there's so much being spoken about with the SSD and how that works to improve games and stuff. That does make sense. So if it is less powerful but has the advantage of the SSD stuff, then yeah, it sort of works in my head now. So thank you.
Following on from that, S&W, the Xbox One X is currently the world's most powerful console, in inverted commas, and the Xbox One S is currently the worst.
That's in quotes.
What did I say?
He wasn't being sarcastic.
No, it's a quote. That's Microsoft's line. And the Xbox One S is currently the worst console power-wise in the Xbox and PlayStation range. Next gen would just be the same as this gen, which is true.
Yeah, but you wouldn't launch I don't know. the Xbox One S wasn't like the least powerful by design, was it? It just sort of ended up that way. Do you know what I mean? So to launch a new gen with,
because that was the unupgraded.
Yeah, like launch a new generation lineup with like, and we've made this one that's worse than all the others. It's not. It's not a marketing pitch, is it?
Yeah, it's slightly different.
That is what they did, but it was like, this is worse than all the others. It's just that it's got Connect and everyone loves that. And that was the thing.
I think it's a little bit different.
Yes, Stu.
Next.
All right. He follows on, and this is... over the months and years we've been doing this show, feedback has been like key part of it. I wanted to bring that in, really, bring the community in. They can, pick us up on our mistakes. This is the worst bit of feedback I've ever received. Not because the feedback's bad, because when I read it and a couple of other tweets about the same subject, I'm like, we are so fucking stupid. Anyway, last week we talked about this rumoured Fable game.
Yeah.
And S&W says, also, as a non-worker at Turn 10 Studios, I can confirm they're not making Fable. Playground Games, on the other hand. Yeah, we basically got Turn 10 and Playground.
But isn't that just because Playground Games do Forza Horizon games or something like that?
Well, this is it, yeah. Because what happened was I said Turn 10, and something in my head went, is that right? That doesn't sound right.
It is Sean's fault.
And then and I went and Googled Turn 10, and it came up, Forza. I was like, yeah, no, they're the Forza guys. Of course they are. But no, that's not who I meant. I meant Playground. Sorry.
It's not your fault, Sean.
I mean, it is a bit.
If any of... No, what I'm saying, no, that's your fault.
Yeah.
But what's not your fault is the fact that we all overly rely on you with stuff like this, because I forget the names of everything... when you say something about a studio, you just go, oh, Sean must be right. Because I remember you saying Turn 10. I'm going, Turn 10 didn't work on Forza Horizon, but I guess
but it's Sean. He must know.
Is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like when you tell me something's offensive, and I go, it doesn't seem offensive, but Sean's told me it is, so maybe I'll stop saying it. Yeah. Okay. All right. We got that wrong.
Apologies, and especially apologies to we've got at least 2 listeners who actually work at Playground Games. So sorry about that.
I mean, I can only imagine it. Have you heard what these twats are saying on this podcast?
Yeah. I've got a feeling they don't give a shit, to be honest.
No. I think they had an all-team meeting. I think they just said, stop development on Fable, or whatever we're working on. Get over it, listen to these twats.
I think the fact that they didn't contact us to correct us confirms the fact that they are indeed working on Fable.
Very good. Can
you imagine if
true.
that team meeting, Matt, was actually, guys, just to let you know, stop working on Fable. We're not working on it. There's been a huge misunderstanding. I've just heard on a computer game show that Turn 10 are.
Yeah, what are we doing on this game?
There's been a massive balls up. It turns out 2 studios are working on the same game. I don't know what's happened. But
Clive.
Sean Bell's put us right.
Yeah, Clive, save as, export, and just email it. Clive, just email it.
They won't use it. Just leave it. Just delete it.
Just send it to Turn 10. Kay Paddle has emailed in. Sean, stop fucking around and get on Divinity Original Sin 2 ASAP. Easily one of the best RPGs of recent memory. And if you like the clever talkiness of Disco Elysium and the big brain strategy of Fire Emblem on hard difficulty, then I'm sure you'll find a lot to love in Divinity Original Sin 2.
Sean?
Yeah?
I mean, do you like the clever talkiness of Disco Elysium?
I do. I love the clever talkiness. And
Well, then someone called Paddle recommends you play Divinity Original Sin 2. So, you know, if you like the intelligent talkiness of Disco Elysium, Paddle reckons Divinity Original Sin 2 ASAP.
No, I'm well aware. It's just one of those because it's only on PC. I know there's a Switch version. I need to just bite the bullet.
Yeah,
and get
there
the
is a Switch version, isn't there?
Yeah. Because I know I'll actually play that. But again, I'm like, but I already own it. Why am I just being an idiot and not just playing it on?
I know
PC,
you own it, Sean, but just pay the $79.99 it costs on Switch and be done with it.
It's been on sale a couple of times, but like one of those where on sale is like 30 quid.
Yeah.
Just make it £2, guys. What's the problem?
Yeah. Come on, Nintendo, you idiots.
I know it's meant to be like a genuine all-timer, but it obviously, because it's sort of perceived as a PC game, hasn't really found the same traction. But then Disco Elysium did, so... Yeah,
well, when's the console version of that coming out? Is that going to be a Christmas thing?
It's in the works, apparently. But yeah.
Cool.
Joshua Garrity has messaged... David, I don't think it's really... Yep.
Oh, sorry, when I hear Josh Garrity's coming at me, I panic.
Yeah, you are.
What have I done?
You're in deep shit. Joshua Garrity. David, I don't think it's really fair to say it's weird, your words, for Sean to decide a game wasn't for him, despite overwhelming praise from players and critics, given that all of you on the panel like that, have made the same decision in the past. Persona 5 was discussed by many outlets and players as a GOTY contender in 2017, and Persona 5 Royal has the highest Metacritic average of any game released in 2020, but you have no intention to play it from what I can tell, David. By any chance, did you decide it wasn't for you? Look, I just think when you point your finger at Sean over stuff like this, you aren't aware that the 3 fingers are pointing back at you. You all have highly praised games you decide not to play, and that's okay. Time is limited. You can't play everything. Go with your gut.
All I'll say, Gary, is watch your fucking back, yeah? Watch your mouth and your back, all right? No, I mean, you're absolutely... you're right and you're wrong, right? Firstly, you're absolutely right. Me turning out on Sean last week is weird, but not for the reason why you're saying. The Persona 5 thing, I was never going to play. It's like saying, Sean, I find it really strange that you wouldn't be into Pez. Like that seems like the comparison you're making. Sean should have just pointed out the Spider-Man thing to me. Because Spider-Man is a genre that I like playing, and it's a highly rated game and people love it and stuff. For some reason... I am not interested in Spider-Man at all. There's just not just the game, the character. That I don't like the Spider-Man thing. It just doesn't interest me.
I don't like the Spider-Man.
I do not like the Spider-Man. All right, and no, I see. You're absolutely right. Yeah, I was wrong to sort of just. And when I was saying it's weird, I wasn't. It's hard to describe. I wasn't calling Sean weird. For not
sounds
not
like calling him
it.
Weird, actually. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
with you.
it does.
I fully admit that.
I fully admit that.
Which is out of order in a way.
It is a bit weird, but not in that way. It's just like, I guess what I'm saying is that I find it strange that it's a genre that you like playing, but for some reason got no interest in that particular highly rated game in that genre.
Yeah.
And then in the week I was thinking, oh yeah, that's me with Spider-Man, so fair enough.
And of course, like, obviously when it's the game that everyone is talking about and we do a weekly podcast about video games, of course you want everyone on it, right? Like I mean, it's different, but like with Disco Elysium, like obviously Matt and I were going nuts because we'd both played it and you guys hadn't, and it was really maddening because we knew you'd enjoy it and we had loads to say about it, but it does sort of limit you, doesn't it, on the show?
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so it's all right, Dave. I know you just wanted me on board. That's fine.
Yeah, good. We understand each other, don't we, Sean?
Yeah, I didn't perceive that discussion as me versus Dave. Personally,
and it wasn't intended. It wasn't intended like that, Sean.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Listen, mate, I love you. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
And whatever you want to do is up to you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, although you were slightly wrong, Gary, you did get me. So, well done. You can go back to your cane and rinse buddies, and all raise a glass of water. Right, let's go next.
I'm sure they'll put on a big tick like. Cane and Rinse 1, TCGS 0. That's got one of those punks.
Listen, just wait for the stream, mate. We'll show them.
Oh, no, don't worry.
I'm concerned about that. You've seen the games we're suggesting and the games they're suggesting. Slightly worried about that.
Well, it's yeah, but you're all right, Dave, because we've basically locked in Rocket League, right?
Yeah, but they play Rocket League a lot as well. You forget that.
Oh, do they?
They have like regularly weekly games, don't they? I think.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, they're not bad at Rocket League.
That means they'll have to actually
not bad
practice.
either.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, we need to be training ourselves. We need to have
yes, we do.
Weekly training
James,
sessions.
can we do that training session, please?
Yes.
You own Rocket League on Xbox.
I do.
So
I've got it.
I
think I've got it. Yeah, no, I've definitely got it on Xbox now because of what we did with the game sharing stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, Xbox now, I thought it was PlayStation.
So we've got to do that. Get your El Gato out, mate. Right, go on. Set El Gato up.
Okay.
Sorry, Sean. That sounded like you were crying inside when you were laughing. Go on, Matt.
I don't think I was.
The last bit of feedback from Ashley Day. I hate myself for being one of those people.
God.
I don't. But James is 100% correct. The letter H is pronounced H. You don't actually use the H sound to pronounce H. Same way W actually begins with a D or F or E.
No, F with E.
F with E.
W begins with...
I was like, hang on, wow.
W begins with D, F or E, yeah. W.
Do you pronounce F and B when you say fucking boffin? Nice. Cheers, Sean. I didn't even think of that. H. So you say just H, is it?
Yeah, there's no
not H, but I say H. All right, okay.
H, yeah.
All right, well,
I mean, it's a stupid thing to call a letter anyway, to be honest.
Is it?
Do you not think?
Well, who sat down and called the letters things?
Well, because like W
question.
begins with a D because you're saying it's like you're saying a double U, right? It's like a word, like
yeah.
So it's nothing to do with the sound of the letter. Like that's different. Whereas H, where does H come from?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could say that about a billion things in the world.
You could. And do you know what else I could do, Dave? I could go away and look it up.
Yeah. No. How about, Sean, we wait for the feedback?
Okay.
Well, I'm sure
we don't need to look things up anymore. We're big enough now.
We just say incorrect things and wait for people to shout at us. It's good.
Yeah. You say incorrect things. You get a bit of an insult, but then you do get the correct answer in the end. So, swings and roundabouts. News. Sorry, no, go on, Matt. You do your how do they contact?
Well, it's a bit different now. So if you want to leave us feedback, you go to tcgs.co/deartcgs and there's a form there rather than email because email is rubbish and, it's 2020, mate. Grow up.
Although you can still tweet.
You
should make that clear because, Matt, it looked like your tweet this morning was saying that you can't tweet anymore. You can still tweet, right?
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Just, you can still tweet.
You can still tweet. Dave, I was going to do exactly the same thing.
Yeah, if you go into a prolonged discussion, well, just untag us. It makes things so much easier. This morning, Christ, my phone was going crazy, and I thought, wow, we're really popular. And it was just people talking about what we can, how we can
arguing between themselves, but just tagging us in every.
Anyway, feedback. Go to tcgs.co/deartcgs. There's a form there. That's it. News.
Yeah, get involved. News.
Okay, Naughty Dog have condemned harassment as The Last of Us 2 developers face death threats. There's been quite a lot of death threats being thrown around this week, which is obviously awful. So what it is that they've revealed the death threats they've received.
We need to really talk around it, don't we?
You
Yes.
mean in terms of spoilers or what?
Yes, in terms of spoilers.
in terms of spoilers.
Okay.
Well, because a lot of this is about
It's
events
specific
in the story,
related
isn't it?
to spoilers.
Okay, well, I mean, I can mention, can't I, that the voice actress for one of the characters has received like a lot of death threats.
Word it like that.
Because of reasons. And Naughty Dog put out a statement saying, they said, although we welcome critical discussion, we condemn any form of harassment or threats directed towards our team and cast. Their safety is our top priority, but we must all work together to root out the type of behaviour and maintain a constructive and compassionate discourse. And then Neil Druckmann said, I hope these gamers get the mental help they so clearly need. Unfortunately, this is now the cost of making popular entertainment that challenges conventions. The character didn't deserve any of this at all.
Here's the thing, right? We've been here a million times before. How the fuck do you stop it? How do you stop it?
Have we been? I know, like, obviously, devs and actors and stuff have received harassment, but how often has it bled into people literally conflating the actor and the character?
Oh, that happens all the time, Sean.
All the
Just
time.
look at like soaps where like actors would like shout, "I can't believe you killed that." But I mean, like with
Now, here's something I should highlight. Here's something I should highlight. That is not us saying, "What are you gonna do? Can't do anything, can you? It's always going to happen." Of course, it's horrific. It's horrible, but I don't see how you get around this.
I don't know how you stop the trolls.
How you get around it.
It's horrendous, yeah.
The mentality is just so bizarre to me that I can't even understand the problem, let alone try and think of a solution. And I'm not saying the onus is on me to do that, but it's just unbelievable to me.
But this has also got just caught up in the general sort of poison that there is in general in discourse at the moment online. In terms of like people have chosen sides that they agree with this stuff, and they don't even know the content of this stuff most of the time. It's just that they've decided they don't like it or whatever, and then they're just throwing abuse around, and it is awful. And
it's crazy, and I'm sure this will come up in the spoiler cast that we're planning to do on The Last of Us 2. Because you can't talk about this in depth without talking about big spoilers in The Last of Us 2. So I'm sure it'll come up on that, and we can delve into it a little bit more. But at this point, it's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
sadly believable.
I almost wonder if people who do this. I mean, I'm sure like some of them probably think it's funny, or at the very least, they'll probably. You would think in the majority of cases they don't actually mean it, right? But they don't. But they don't understand that it's like, but you have to take these things seriously. You can't wait until someone actually, carries out makes a death threat and then carries through with it to take these things seriously, because that's too fucking late. So you can't. It's like people think, oh well, it's just insulting people on the internet, isn't it? It's fine. It's like, no, it's a fucking threat. It's completely different.
It was like when we were younger.
It's just insane.
I think this is the problem in general, though. It's that just sort of like it's just insulting people on the internet, and how that's just a thing that everyone thinks. Yeah. Well, okay, everyone doesn't think this, because obviously a lot of people don't think that it's fine, but there's enough people that do think it is and make it miserable for everybody.
It's funny, isn't it?
You remember
would
when
think,
we were younger, Sean, and it was like there was bomb threats. There was so many of them. Like you'd be in a public pool and we'd all have to get out because there was a bomb threat.
Yeah. Exactly. You can't look at a threat like that and think, well, it's probably not true. We'll leave it. Like you have to take these things seriously every time.
Yeah, because it's awful. It's awful.
Yeah.
I just, it's so frustrating because, as I say, we've read God knows how many news stories out like this. We always have the same repulsive response. Yet we know that there's going to be another one around the corner. It's horrific, isn't it?
I think what always gets me about it's just online stuff. Who cares? Is I'd always growing up. I'll say growing up. Obviously, late teens or whatever, that had always felt like something that older people said because they had this this total distinction between computer stuff and real life stuff. And for us, like, we're the ones for whom those two things have blurred, right? So I'd always thought, yeah, but as people our age get older, we all know that online stuff, it can be very real to us and very hurtful. So we're going to get better at this. But it seems to be the fucking opposite. Like, people are just more horrible than ever.
Yeah.
It's just mad.
Yep.
I mean, it's because there's no recourse. Like, the worst what's can happen is that account, their account will get blocked or banned, and then they'll open up another one and be hateful towards other people. It's like it's so rare. There's actual, repercussions for these people doing these sorts of things.
Mm-hmm. But it's also because the social media platforms are built on trying to engage people, and they figured out, like, the algorithms have figured out that it works quite well to push hate because people engage with that more. Yep. And that is a 100%. Massive problem with this, is that like, voices like that are being amplified and normalising everything. It's
YouTube as well.
Yeah.
It's very shit.
Twitch as well. It's every online community. Well, not every online community, but it's a hell of a lot of them. Mm-hmm. And it's not nice to see. But I the saddest thing about it all is that I see no end to it.
No.
Without major internet restrictions that I'm not sure any of us would like to see.
I mean, education would be a start. Like, actually, teaching kids about this stuff, but then obviously,
do you think that's going to work? Really?
I mean, it'd take a while, obviously, but
I don't think that'll make a difference, Sean.
Do you reckon?
You've got someone in a classroom telling you that people get upset by this and it has real life implications. They ain't going to give a shit, are they?
I mean, well, but if they don't give a shit, that, to me, that just represents like a deeper problem. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, never mind the online stuff. Like, a kid's just not being taught to care. I mean, I think that stuff has improved a lot generally, right? Like, you hear, like, even now, parents our age are getting called out by their kids on saying things that are inappropriate and stuff. And I think that's good. I think that's positive. So yeah, like, to me, that's the only answer I can think of is just better education around this stuff. As you say, but then maybe I'm naive about how much kids will actually give a shit.
Well, I don't see it as a matter of caring or not, to be honest with you. I see it as a problem with people feeling like you're anonymous online.
Yeah.
I think that's the issue. If people were, like, if they knew that their address and real name and contact details was sent with every message they send, I think you'd see way less of it. But so I don't think it's a matter of caring or not. I think it's a matter of having that feeling of being anonymous online.
That wouldn't work either, because they do the same thing in China, where there is, like, real name registration and people still do this. It doesn't make any difference.
Oh, really?
Yeah, people still do it. As long as you're trolling the right thing, then you're fine. And it's still, people still do it. It's dreadful.
Jesus.
Horrible. Okay.
Next story?
Yeah, better.
Yes, please.
Okay. So NBA 2K21, the price is going to be $10 more expensive than on the Xbox Series X and PS5. So it's going to have a recommended retail price of about £65 when it launches on PS5 and Xbox Series X this year, which is obviously $10 more than it used to be before, like 10 quid more. And this is really weird because this, I mean, Matt, we talked about this, didn't we, in the show? And you were bang on right about the fact that the thing with this is it's not so much the price hike, it's also the other news with this, whereby if you buy a more expensive edition of this, then you get, like, a cross-platform version. And so they're, like, charging you extra, basically, for the upgrade, which is a bit off.
I mean, everyone I've heard loads of podcasts say, $10 more, $10 more, £10 more. Like, I mean, yes, I expected games to be charged more at the start of generation, and that will probably eke out and stay the same for the rest of the generation. I expected that. That's not a massive surprise. But yeah, I think the real story has been hidden. The fact that you can buy this more expensive version for currently I think £65 instead of a tenner less. But if you buy the £85 Kobe Bryant fronted Mamba Forever edition of this game, that's the only one that actually works across both generations.
Mm.
So this game comes out when September, I think.
Yeah,
21st September. So someone could buy this day one, 21st September, and think, okay, I want to play this on my next gen console, and they will be able to, but they're not going to get the next gen bells and whistles sort of version,
right?
And they can't upgrade that version either. They'd have to, because if they wanted, they'd have to basically just sell that and then buy the new bells and whistles version for Xbox, or had already spent 85 quid on the Kobe Bryant version to get the cross-generation thing.
Can I ask a question about game prices? Yeah, there's always been that thing that game prices haven't really changed much in the past, 20 years away. Yeah, I was thinking, when was the last time we were paying £60 for new current generation games at the end of the generation?
Well, it's more that they started off expensive and then they've just remained that price.
But I mean, I remember when they started selling for 50 and thinking, fucking hell, £50 a game. And now you want to buy a new Nintendo game, it's $59.99, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or is it $49.99?
If you go to Game and stuff, it's that price.
Yeah, it depends where you go.
Yeah, of course, you can get it cheaper elsewhere, but
on the eShop though, it's ridiculous, how much those things cost. But the thing is this. I mean, this is a myth anyway, that they like to say that prices haven't increased since 1997 or whatever, and it's complete rubbish because you've also got to think about things like microtransactions and stuff that have been incorporated into these games, and the fact that things have been stripped out and then sold back to you as well through season passes and stuff like that. They have found ways to monetize this and to try and make more money out of the games, and it's completely disingenuous to say that they haven't done that. It's nonsense.
No, I mean, I've seen that comparison saying, well, they haven't in comparison to things like the cinema, which has gone up massively, and other things like that. And yes, I mean, I think comparatively, so it has gone up barely at all.
I don't think it has though. If you look at
wait, the cinema can't chop out a bit of the film and then sell it to you afterwards.
Not just that, but okay, think about if you buy a Blu-ray. How much does a Blu-ray cost?
15 quid.
10, 15.
Okay, how much did DVD cost 15 years ago?
I don't know.
It's about the same. Here. It was about the same. That's how much they were when they first came out. This whole thing is complete nonsense, and they're just doing this to try and get a bit of extra cash. This is the only reason they're doing this. I don't have any sympathy.
Can you blame them though? Can you blame them?
No, the cost of
developing games must be quite high.
The cost of game development as men have gone up tons. I mean. So I mean, I have an issue with them, raising prices by another tenner, because I think, frankly, I'd rather that than developers go out of business, studios go out of business. Obviously, there are people like EA and other people who are desperate to add as much microtransactions as possible. And actually, a lot of people have said about, particularly, and this isn't EA, but NBA 2K, that they also have loads of microtransactions as well. So it's not like if you buy the expensive version or whatever, you're not going to be sold other ways to put money into the game. But I don't mind them going up £10 because I know honestly, gone up.
I don't agree because I'm just thinking with this is look, if something is costing you, this is ridiculous. These companies are not charities. They're not making this stuff out of the goodness of their hearts, for people. They're making it to make money. That's the purpose of this.
Yes.
If it's costing too much money,
that's what we're saying too, isn't it?
Yeah, but if it's costing too much money, then and you're thinking, okay, these games are costing too much, then maybe you need to look at how you're developing stuff, and think maybe this is not the right way.
I think what annoys me is, sorry, Dave, did you want to?
Well, no, but I mean, to counter that point there, James, is no, they need to get the price point right because they need to outweigh that. So. They're only doing this pricing that they're putting on this 2K game. They're doing it because they know it will sell at that price, right?
Definitely.
I think something we've seen this generation slowly creep in is a variable price range for different games. Now we've had that in previous generations. There's you've had this is a budget game, this is a cheaper game or whatever. But we've certainly seen that a lot more this gen, where games have come out for 60, 50, 40, 30. They've come out at different sort of tiered prices.
I don't know. I think we've seen less of that this generation than we did last generation.
Absolutely not. No
Come on,
way.
Last generation, they had that whole period where they started pumping out 15-hour games or whatever, and then said, and they were cheaper. That hasn't happened this generation.
But that's what I'm saying. This last generation, it was very much there's a full price game and there's a budget title game. Whereas this generation, I've seen a lot more varied prices. And I think we will see a lot more of that next year, because that price point they're putting on 2K, this 2K game, right? Or what is it, NBA 2K?
Yeah, 2K21.
Yeah, right. That's just not going to work for a new IP first-person shooter or something like that, is it? I think it's going to get a little bit more varied with pricing next gen. I really do.
But I think if there was like a brand new IP first-person shooter on launch, then they would charge that, because all the other games that are on launch were around the same price. So I think they would actually.
What, next gen?
No, right, yeah. So
you reckon a new IP could think that they could come out at that price point?
I think if this price gets adopted, then yeah. I think they would.
I think that'd be mad.
No, if they were on launch day, there's this NBA 2K21 game, and there's also like what I would call a classic launch title, like a 6 or 7 out of 10 sort of FPS. That would also be the same price. They wouldn't say new IP, let's make it a little bit cheaper. They'll say, hang on, all the other games on launch around this price, we'll also sell it for. Well,
if they do that, they're thick then, aren't they?
Because they know people will buy games at launch.
Because development costs towards games are so varied, right? You've got big studio budgets.
Big what?
I don't know where budget comes from. Big studio budgets and episode title. Like the budgets vary. Why would the price of the product not vary?
Well, I totally agree with you about that. There should be variable pricing, but there isn't. Like, there really isn't. Like, not to a great degree. There is for stuff like indie games, that come out, but there absolutely isn't for like most of the like large publisher like produced stuff.
Well, yeah, no, because they've got the bigger budget. They've got these huge games that they can market the shit out of.
Well, yeah, but this whole thing I do find irritating, because I just don't feel that that these companies, like, I mean, I'm not talking about indie games here, and I'm not talking about smaller publishers and everything, but for companies like EA and for Activision and these companies to kind of plead poverty over this, and how they've got to raise prices because it's costing them too much. I just don't buy it. It's just
I'm not feeling sorry for EA. I'm not feeling sorry. I'm not saying that they're but what I'm saying is that we are moving forward. Budgets are getting bigger for developing on games, and you can say all you want, limit the budget, make it for cheaper then. But maybe that's not what certain people want. Certain people want a really expensive game.
Yeah, if they start saying, actually, it's not going to look as good as last year because games are expensive and we don't want to charge more. People are like, this looks shit. I'm not buying this game. I want it to look bigger and better.
Okay,
well, I think what gets me right is that like. So obviously, if you got a team of people who work on an annual series, and then all of a sudden they've got to develop it for an extra set of consoles, of course that is more labour, it's more costs, and they've got to recoup that somehow, and they're choosing to do it by charging more. But what annoys me is maybe they've considered this, maybe they have good reasons for it, I don't understand, but personally, to me, it seems like a smarter decision to be like, let's just give people the cross-gen version for one normal price, and you will pick up more sales from people who might not have bothered otherwise, but if they see it and go, oh shit, so that'll just work on my PS5. Yeah, fuck it, go on then.
Yeah, like that. I agree with. I think there's a balancing act, isn't it? Because if they do raise the price, in theory, I don't know how true it is, but in theory, they will generate less sales out of it, right? Day one or early doors, where the game sells for the most money, and they'll lose sales out of it. You would expect.
I think the opposite.
They must have done the maths with saying, look, if we charge more, yes, we'll lose sales, but the extra money we make from the people that we do think will buy at this price point it makes up for that.
I wonder if it's a thing like with a new console generation. Is there basically like almost a guaranteed number of sales if you can get something out early doors?
Definitely. Because, I mean, because there's always like here's the top launch games. This game looks great, or and there's been so many sort of less than incredible games that people bought because I want to see what Resistance looks like on the PS3. I'll buy that. If Resistance came out any other time, I wouldn't have bothered. But I wanted to see a game looking good on a new console, and so get a game out for launch, which is what they're going to do, and charge more money. You'll get sales, and if it doesn't work, then the next game will be a little bit less, maybe. But like, I mean,
and
this is an educated guess at this point. Like, I think they were like, might as well. People will buy it. Sales will be higher because of the new console. And
the other interesting thing, Matt, is how does Microsoft's strategy change affect that?
I mean, EA have always said that they're not really doing the whole smart delivery thing. This also isn't taking advantage of smart delivery.
No, I'm not talking about
the smart delivery thing is a joke.
Hold on. I'm not talking about
we'll come back to that. What was that Dave say?
Matt, I'm not talking about smart delivery at all. I'm talking about the fact that they're, everything plays on everything, the idea, okay, which technically is smart delivery. But what I'm saying is that if you bring out a game on the Xbox One, it automatically works on your Series X.
Yeah.
The idea of a launch title isn't really going to be there, is it? So now I think that's going to work positively for Microsoft, because if you buy your Series X, you've got a fuck ton of games available day one, right? They're not all going to be making full power of that new console, but you have a hell of a lot of very good games available day one. We don't know, you might still have that on the PS5. They haven't really gone into that detail yet. I mean, at this point, I'd be very surprised if they didn't, but what I'm saying is that if that's the case, are people going to be rushing to develop for launch for the Series X? I'm not so sure they will.
No, I think they will. I mean, like, a launch doesn't necessarily mean not exclusive. Like, there is a new console launching, and they will want to get games out for that, even if that game can also work on the previous hardware, or an older version can work on the new hardware. It is an event. It's like, I've got my new console. What game am I going to get? What's out today? What's out this week? Like, it's still a launch, even if these games aren't exclusive to this generation. And James, about smart delivery. Yeah, like, the whole idea of smart delivery. I mean, you were saying it's a joke. It's not on Microsoft.
It is a joke.
But it's not Microsoft.
It is because
Microsoft built an initiative, and these publishers are like, now we want to make some money, so we're not going to ignore you.
It's at this stage, it's now just a marketing buzzword, and it's not like it's become like UWP, the Universal Windows Platform stuff. It's exactly the same kind of thing where it's like they've come up with this, what is a very good idea. It's a great system, but it doesn't work if nobody buys into it apart from Microsoft, and that's exactly what's happening here. It's like,
I wouldn't know. Other developers have said they're buying into it, haven't they?
No, that's the whole point. Like, these publishers are not doing this. Like, EA, all these other companies are not bothering.
Cyberpunk is, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla is.
Yeah, Ubisoft are doing it. But Ubisoft are the only big publisher that are. No one else is.
Yeah, okay. So EA and Activision aren't currently. Yeah. But because they see, well, why? We're not going to leave money on the table. We want to sell consumers two different versions of the same game because we know people will buy that. But yeah, it does kind of throw that stuff out. It kind of just throws it in Microsoft's face.
The biggest bullshit about that is that you only really care about that for the first year, right? Don't you?
I don't know about that.
Well, no, I mean, the smart delivery, if you've... Well, I suppose if you've got... Like, if your kid's got an Xbox One and you've got a Series X, then, yeah, the smart delivery stuff is going to be important for a little bit longer, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's not just the fact it works. Like, what working is a given, although they have said, like, they're going to make sure they support Xbox One titles for 2 years on the new console. But it's more like, you put in an Xbox One game in a Series X and it is the best version. But now there are next gen versions.
It's that though, isn't it? It's like you're getting the best version, asterisk, unless you bought a game from one of these other companies. It's like, it's not what was promised as being like the thing.
But the tone of your voice indicates that you're saying like Microsoft's fucked up.
Well,
I mean, could they have enforced it? I guess is the question.
That is a possibility. Yeah, like why couldn't they have done that?
That'd be suicide, though.
How can they tell a publisher, you're not going to do this? Like that would be suicide. They're like, okay, fine, we're not going to release 2K1 on the Xbox in there. How about that?
It depends on how strong Microsoft are, like as a platform at that stage. Because I mean, Apple enforces stuff like that all the time. I've got
a feeling not very strong at the moment.
Well, that's the thing. So they can't afford to. But if it was like, even PlayStation could probably enforce this stuff if they really wanted to. They could just say, yeah, we're just going to.
I don't know. I think the days of that, it's much more of a risk now. But who knows? I mean, this whole thing is fascinating. But yes, this 2K1 situation is just mad. And I really think the main story of the fact you have to buy the £85 version of this game if you want it to work both platforms is being buried by, games are a bit more expensive. I mean, we know that.
Okay, and again, it would be interesting to see if it maintains that, because, as you said, James, we all know that generations start off like this and then they start to get cheaper again. So We'll see. All right.
Would you like to hear about loot boxes?
Wow, I haven't heard that.
Fucking hell, it's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah,
it has.
Since that phrase has been uttered on this shoe.
Yeah, but the House of Lords has just published, in the UK, have just published a report recommending that the UK government should reclassify them as gambling. So this was the House of Lords Select Committee on the Social and Economic Impact of the Gambling Industry. This is what they said. They said the government must act immediately to bring loot boxes within the remit of gambling legislation and regulation. And it says, alongside recommendations for other gambling concerns, the report argues that loot boxes should be classified as games of chance, which means they would fall under the Gambling Act of 2005 and be regulated by the Gambling Commission.
Right, okay. I've read that article, James. It doesn't make it clear what constitutes as a loot box, right?
Yeah, well, yes, it does, but no. How do you mean?
Which one is it?
They don't specify whether it's loot boxes that you pay for or loot boxes you earn with in-game money, do they? So that's where...
Although it's not... Because
if they say
that, though.
all loot boxes, not just the ones that you pay in-game currency with, then fucking Animal Crossing's got to be regulated. Yeah. Do you know? So it's kind of like, it's a dodgy one.
I know, because especially, it says there is academic research which proves that there is a connection, though not necessarily a causal link, between loot box spending and problem gambling. And then it says, we echo the conclusions of the Children's Commission report that if a product looks like gambling and feels like gambling, it should be regulated as gambling. But you're right, it's like, it doesn't make it entirely clear whether they're talking about loot boxes that you're buying, through microtransactions and stuff like that, or whether they're just talking about all forms of chance in games. I mean, I'd imagine...
Obviously, because there is part of me in the back of my mind that's thinking, Harry wakes up, he goes fishing, hoping that he pulls out the fish that he wants, and he's got to keep doing that until he gets the fish that he wants so he can put it in the museum. Or, he gets the fossils, hoping it's the right one, and going into...
That's bullshit, though, isn't it? I mean, come on, that's nothing
James,
like...
Listen to me, right? What I'm saying is that if there is a psychological link where that behaviour pattern is installed in kids and that later on is proven to go on to have links with gambling, then maybe that is a concern. I'm not saying it is, right? Because I'm always of the thing that sort of stuff is fun. If it's not harmful, that is fun. And it's kind of what a lot of games are based on. And to say that should not be in games anymore, I'd be like, hold on, a little bit of, what am I getting is fun, right? But it's such a confusing and complicated subject that trying to turn it into a black and white law is rather difficult. I think the most simple way of doing it is if you're spending money in-game, real world money on in-game purchases, you've got to know what you're buying. I think that's the only way that you can regulate that. And that I would completely agree with. Well,
that's why they've talked about how there needs to be limits on spending, but also they publish the odds as well of how likely you are to be able to get something out of it and everything. But I think this is really targeted at people buying. I mean, basically the Fire Emblem Heroes stuff. Yeah, that Matt did. Yeah, I think that's what they're more...
Let's not get personal.
I think they're more interested in that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, you're talking about cards in FIFA Ultimate Team and stuff like that.
That kind of thing. Yeah,
I totally agree with that. But it was an interesting discussion we had on, throughout the week about Animal Crossing, and actually, when you look at that game, it relies on addictive triggers throughout to keep you returning every day. And is that healthy? Is that fun? Is that healthy? I don't know the answer, but I don't...
Is it fun?
Is it fun? Yeah.
I had
fun playing that game, but is it healthy? I don't know. Matt? I don't know.
If I don't want, Elodie now saying, I really want a T-Rex head, and 30 years' time, spending 600 quid on Skybet. I don't want that to happen. All because we're trying to get a T-Rex head.
But what can you legislate on, isn't it?
That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, like the gambling stuff is more clear cut because there is money changing hands. Whereas, as you say, it's harder to take a legal stance on, well, these games are kind of designed using techniques that are intended to get kids hooked. But is it? But how do you actually define when that becomes a problem?
You hooked on is playing the game that you've already bought, so you don't
exactly
you're not spending more money on it. So where's the harm?
Yeah,
I mean,
there could be harm, but it's too distant and sort of underhand to be like, right, we should stop this happening right now. And where do you draw the line between something being just genuinely compelling?
You saying I can't wrap my kids' Christmas presents anymore? Is that what you're saying? Because they don't know what's inside the package. Fucking hell, the world's gone fucking mad.
Well, no, just have like a percentage on the outside, like 2% chance it's like Playmobil, 16% chance Lego, 0% chance Scale Electric. I mean, I think as long as they loot boxes has to be like a paid for thing, then I think it is pretty clear cut. But who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay. Apple has reportedly ended some Apple Arcade contracts because they're seeking like higher retention. So they've been contacting developers that to sort of try and get the focus more on like long-term engagement rather than it being short-term, and apparently some contracts.
Free to play.
Yeah,
free to play.
Well, not free to play. I mean, I'm very, very annoyed about this. I mean, first off, regardless of what your change in direction is, like just cutting off devs who are halfway through working on something. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Well,
that's the worst bit.
It says here. It says. I mean, according to Bloomberg, it says that there was multiple calls in mid-April were made to developers that were working on games for the subscription service to terminate their contracts because the in-game progress didn't have a high enough level of engagement. Apparently, they paid them up until the milestones that they said that they would, but then obviously that's it. Then you're done. And I mean that sucks, doesn't it?
It really does. Like obviously, so there is some compensation there, but it's not. It's not the same as actually getting to release something that you can show to people. And I mean, I don't know what the legality is. Maybe they can still, put these games out, release them elsewhere if they want. I don't know.
Sean,
yeah,
you're on a show with 3 people you can directly blame for all this.
That's true.
100%. 100%. Do you remember when Apple Arcade come out and we were all going, it just feels like mobile gaming's back. There's so many great experiences. This is so much fun. All 3 of us kept it for the 3 month and then cancelled.
I'm still going strong, mate. But then I don't use it as much as I should. But that's just me and my own habits. Like my discipline for actually just sitting down with the iPad is quite poor anyway. Like it's something I reach for when I need it for a specific thing. But to actually just be like, yeah, do you know what? Tonight, instead of putting the telly on, I'm just going to put my headphones on and play something on the iPad. I just kind of don't do that. But that's not the iPad's fault. It's not Apple Arcade's fault. But I do really like the sort of stuff they've been putting out with Apple Arcade. And I mean, I think they mentioned, don't they, James, that what's it called? The one that uses the shining example of the sort of thing they want. Grindstone, that's it. Now, yeah. Grindstone's really fucking good, right? So I'm not having a go at Grindstone at all. And what's especially cool is it looks like the sort of thing that would make you go, fucking hell, it's another free-to-play mobile game. But because it's not had to, be designed to be like a free-to-play game, it's a really good version of one of those, and it doesn't feel cynical, right? So I suppose it's fine that we're going to, get more of those kinds of games, but without the cynicism. However, all my favourite moments, around Apple Arcade have been cool, like one-shot narrative things like Tangle Tower and Over the Alps and stuff. I fucking love those games, and I guarantee I would probably not have bothered playing them if it wasn't for Apple Arcade. And that's not I'm not having to go at the games. It was just so like Tangle Tower was like 18 quid on Switch, which is a big ask for something that's only I think it's maybe 3-4 hours long. Whereas on Apple Arcade, it's like, fuck yeah, why not? So it was a really great space for that sort of thing. And to hear that Apple are going, actually, no, more puzzle games, please. Nothing wrong with puzzle games. Just Apple Arcade had been this very cool space for interesting narrative stuff. And it sounds like that is not going to be the case going forward.
Yeah, I mean, shame.
Or they could just make, massive RPGs that take weeks and months to finish.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's the plan. Sean, have you just before we move on, you played NeoCab yet?
I played a bit of it. I need to get back into it.
Into it, no?
No, I didn't dislike it. It was. I think I just hadn't played enough to, really sort of get my head around sort of where the story was going and stuff.
Enough, Sean?
Well, sorry.
Would you say it wasn't engaging enough?
Yeah, I need more engagement. It needs like a match 3 puzzle section or something.
Yeah. Why do you hate NeoCab? It's really weird. I
do. I fucking despise it. It's weird.
Bang out of order. Right, good game. Right, okay. Yeah, Sean hates it apparently. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get to the new news story.
Yeah, new news.
Okay, Nintendo have stopped sales of digital download codes for retailers, which is a shame. Yeah.
Fuck. Someone said. Someone pointed out that. Oh yeah, Sony have already done this, and I was like, oh really? And I looked it up, and yeah, they have already done that.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, you can still get Sony games for relatively cheap. Yeah. Nintendo.
This is
on the new Mario game.
This is just first party stuff, right?
It's only for first party, yeah. So third party games are not affected. So there still will be download codes for those that are available.
But it was mainly the first party stuff that I'd get on.
Well, this is it, and it's just a bit galling to imagine Nintendo like suddenly one morning being like, apparently people are buying Mario Kart 8 for a measly £42 3 years after it came out.
To be fair, I paid £35 for Animal Crossing.
Yeah, me too.
What I mean? Yeah. And it's like 60 quid on the fucking thing.
I mean, the only way around this is by buying, like, like you can get those codes which are like, if you buy 30 quids, then you can get 40 quid of like code or whatever.
Honestly, though, those things are like 50p cheaper, though.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Also, could you imagine if they'd done this before Animal Crossing? The amount of money James would have had to have spent. Fucking hell.
And I think, the danger with those, like slightly cheaper, credit vouchers or whatever is that, you look at it, it's like, oh, well, if I spend 150 quid, then I save 20.
I say £1.50.
Yeah. So this is really shit, and it's very anti-consumer. Obviously, it's removing the choice, isn't it, from people? I mean, I know that obviously there's some discussions about, we talked before about like potentially dodgy key resellers and stuff, but I'm pretty sure, I've often used CD keys for this stuff.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
I think they're pretty legit, right? They're certainly not.
Yeah, they're the ones. If I need credit or anything, I go CD keys. Yeah,
I only use G2A. It's the only one I use. Yeah,
great team over there.
Great deals. They got on there. It's
great deals.
They didn't give a reason, did they? It's just when we're not doing this. Goodbye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's we like money. Yeah.
Goodbye.
Fuck.
And I'm very annoyed because I need to rebuy Mario Kart 8, and I was going to do so digitally.
Why?
Huh?
Did you get rid of it?
Yeah. Do you remember? Man. You specifically were like, Sean, you've got a kid growing up, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, it was before. Yeah, I do remember that. I was like, you are going to regret that.
Yep, here we are.
Yeah,
regret. Because he Isaac is enjoying trying driving games, but obviously Mario Kart's got all the assists and stuff, hasn't it?
It is so perfect.
Yeah,
it's so perfect. You whack the assists on, they don't go off the track, and it's way more colourful and exciting.
Yeah.
And you whack it on easy mode.
Did I tell you he knows who Mario is? And I don't. And I don't know how, because I've never.
Right, okay, yeah, that's the questionable bit. Yeah, go on. Wait, what's he say?
So I've got. I think it was birthday or a few birthdays or Christmases ago. My brother got me a Mario Brothers mug, one of the colour change ones. It's pretty cool. Anyway, just by. It was the first thing I grabbed out of the cupboard. Isaac wanted some water, so I just got to put the water in that cup and gave it to him, and he just went, "Oh, it's Mario." I was like, "It is." Yeah. But how do you know?
Did you know he was called Jumpman in the original?
Yeah, actually,
he was supposed to be Popeye, but
let's Super Mario, Dad. Yeah. So, I mean, you're wondering where he knows. It's probably your massive tattoo, Sean.
That's true. Yeah, and the training sessions and the.
Sean, you do know that Charlie knows who Mario is.
Does he? Yeah, but Harry always bangs on about it. That's
understandable, yeah. Like whenever he sees a picture like Mario anywhere, he goes woohoo, and even better when he sees Yoshi anywhere, he goes. Gear gum. It's great. I love that shit.
Amazing. Sorry, what were we talking about? Yeah, Nintendo are dickheads.
Yeah. Read the room, James. Read the room, baby.
Okay, so EGX is going digital because the physical show has been cancelled this year.
Are we doing something for that?
Yeah, I should probably email them, really.
Have we?
I thought you did.
Yeah, I said I would. I haven't done it yet.
I'll be surprised because, they've got all these huge companies that turn up for this event. I'm sure they'll want us to do something.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll have some dead air to fill. We'll just...
Yeah, so
we've got the 3 a.m. slot.
I'll get in contact with them and maybe it'd be good to do it'd be mad to do like a live show, but on there, I don't know how it works.
There's no way they'd let us do a live show.
That's what they're getting panels. That's what they're
that's what they did with Res as well.
Yeah, but that's panels, though, isn't it? That's not the fringe theatre stuff.
Listen, no one from a distance could tell the difference between our show and a panel. All right,
that's true. The pictures look great, don't they, Sean? What was it? Oh yeah, the amount of people. Oh yeah, I was in Earls Court the other day doing a live show on my podcast. Earls Court. Yes, the NEC in Birmingham.
Yeah. Heard of it?
It's the tour. There's only 2 days.
Cardio's playing. I'm not saying like same weekend. Cardio's playing. So similar artists.
But I just got I've got a feeling they'll go. Yeah, we'd love you to do something. You've got the 3 a.m. to 5 past 3 a.m. slot.
Mate, I'll take it. Yeah.
On our third channel.
That'd be great.
All right, go on then.
And the last one
that is sad. Yeah, it's absolutely gutting that they've cancelled it. And, we know our listeners really look forward to that event, but, it'll be back next year.
Yeah,
the one thing I will say is that it says here, EGX Digital will be a free event featuring Let's Plays, that makes sense, tournaments, indie titles, meet and greets.
What?
Yeah.
How's that work?
FaceTime.
Presumably through Zoom. I think that's
they just hand out the number of the celebrity.
Meet and greets. Great to meet.
If it was E3, they probably would do that. Because
the most awkward Zoom call you've ever had in your life.
Sorry, James. I'm sorry. I just got the joke. Very good.
Oh, no one else did.
I'm sorry.
Because it was a little bit too late, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Are you joking? It was spot on.
But giving out the numbers and E3.
That
in your head it was probably lightning quick, but in reality you said that about 4 hours after I'd finished that little point there.
I mean, it didn't help that it took me another 4 hours to get it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Do we still get free swag?
I don't know.
No, we haven't had that for years.
Did we never got free swag.
Oh, we did though back in the day.
They just let us in the building, and we're just happy with that. Do you know what I mean?
Also, when we did our first live show, was there part of you thinking, they probably have a little bag of swag for the people that are doing the live shows?
I think it'd be like the Oscars. It's like the bag at the end, like the Rolex watch. And
I was hoping for a free on-live console, but
like a T-shirt or something. You know what I mean? We got nothing. Oh, that's a lie. We got a bottle of water.
No, I don't really want that.
Nor do I. Matt.
Sounds like you do,
You
Dave.
can't say T-shirts in front of Matt now. He gets too
Sounds
angry.
like you're desperate for a free T-shirt.
I'm bang up for a free T-shirt. I wear them around the house. Lovely old job. I still wear my Black Ops 3 T-shirt.
I am, as well as I'll email them and maybe do a live show. I might email saying, "Can we do a meet and greet?"
Oh my god!
Because I just want to see what happens.
It would just be a Zoom call, me, us four, and Scientologist.
Hey, I'd love to meet him online.
That's a point. He's one of our most dedicated fans, and he's one of the few I've never met.
I mean, let's not single out a fan and slag him off. I mean,
it's a good point. I'm not slagging him off. I'm saying he's great.
Bloody good point, Sean.
You got to understand. Me and Ben know each other well enough. Well, we don't know each other at all, but we're comfortable in having a pop at each other constantly, so it's okay. Yeah. It's one of those relationships, you know what I mean?
Actually,
I have with everyone I know.
What I would like to do, I might see if we can try and get involved in everyone. Let's play. We can do a Let's Play tournament, maybe indie title. James, work on something in Dreams now. Meet and greets we can do. Developer session. James, you can do the developer session for the game in Dreams.
Bitter Nest.
The Bitter Nest.
Yeah.
Coming 2021.
We'll do all of it, mate. Yeah, do a lot. Do every one of them.
And we'll do a panel. We need to do a panel on a subject.
Why the Bitter Nest is 2024's greatest game.
We could do a panel.
That's not a panel. That's some sort of marketing campaign.
Why the Bitter Nest is going to retail at £129.99.
Yeah,
I've always wanted to do a panel.
Okay,
£129.99.
I want it to be design challenges of my Sonic game. Just like that.
I've always had a panel in my head that I wanted to genuinely wanted to do.
Okay, so what are you playing? What isn't it? What is it?
but like it's too late now. I can't do it. But you know the Tomb Raider reboot?
Yeah.
I had this whole thing written out that it had the best plot that's ever been in a video game, and here's why. Right? Okay. And I'd run them, because the plot in that game is absolutely diabolical. I wanted to run them through the actual plot of that game and highlight the fact that it's bad voice actors or whatever. There's a scene at the start of that game where Lara Croft falls, like the ship crashes, she goes underwater and she's just about to die, and a hand comes out of nowhere and pulls her out of the water. Uh-huh. But then you never see who that hand belongs to. Who saves Lara Croft in that moment. And I was going to pitch that my theory is that was actually the hand of God, and she's dead, and all the stuff you see after that is her thoughts as she, like her final moments before she died as she was drowning, right? Yeah. That's why all of the accents are absolutely terrible, because they're all like made up in her head, and that's what she thinks people like that sound like. That's why the weird like magic people show up at the end. Like, that's all in her head.
Do you want me to ruin this for you, Dave?
Go on.
Final Fantasy VIII, basically, well, according to some fans, does this. So I think it's the end of the first disc. Main character clearly just gets fucking wrecked, and then the next disc he's like, "Oh no, you're all right now. It's fine. Don't worry about it." And then and the story just goes fucking mental. So
you want me to ruin your counter argument, Sean?
Yeah.
People that are that into Final Fantasy VIII, where they know theories of the plot, aren't turning up to a panel about Tomb Raider having the best plot in any video game ever.
That's a fair point.
They won't be there.
Dave, I mean, I like the panel idea.
Cheers, mate. I didn't ask for your opinion, but go on.
Well, I've given you anyway. That's what we do over. But how about where you say, I want an hour slot, and you said, here's what I think is the greatest story ever told. You spend 59 minutes explaining the entire story and say, oh, it's just bloody good, isn't it? Thank you.
That might actually be that panel. Okay, right. Is that it for the news?
Where's this going? This thing's getting soon. He's still explaining the epilogue.
When does he make his point?
I'm the boss will leave it now.
Right. Can we do a panel on how to make a successful podcast, and it'll just be yours being like, just do it for years and years and years and years and years and years and years for free. Probably be quite rubbish for most of the time.
Make loads of mistakes. Forget to press record.
It'll probably be quite rubbish for a period of about 8 or 9 months. And then the main element will return and it'll get good again. I see where you're going, Sean. I see where you're going.
And then he'll piss off, and actually, arguably, that then period after that will be arguably the greatest period, and he'll come back and
you couldn't see driving home the other night because you don't like wearing your glasses. Right, is that the end of the news, James?
No, there's one last thing, is that, Xbox are doing a game showcase on the 23rd of July.
This is it. This is...
Gen and fucking
I'm practically fizzing with excitement.
Yeah, I'm excited because I seem to have arbitrarily decided that I'm an Xbox guy next gen, so
I don't want to hear about you fizzing, Matt, to be quite honest with you.
I said fizz with an F. With an F.
That's what I said. Right.
Okay, I wasn't sure if anything cut out.
I see what you're doing, Lilith. So what are we doing? What are we doing for this show?
We can do a stream, aren't we?
So you're doing a talk. Who's doing a talks over for it?
We're doing a talks over.
Right.
And Dave...
Am I missing it?
You have to sit out.
So are we recording it that night?
I don't see why we couldn't.
I think we should do a talks over live. It's a 30, so what's the date, James?
23rd.
The date is the 23rd, yeah.
Thursday 23rd at 5 p.m. UK time.
You see James scrambling about because the date wasn't in the headline. I didn't think you asked for the
date. I'd already closed my notes because I thought I'm done with this now.
So just fucking checked out. That's it.
Right. Okay. So you guys do live stream. I avoid it, and then you tell me what happened afterwards.
So hang on. Obviously, this is a Thursday. We don't record the pod typically till Monday. What are we going to do?
Are we just going to record an extra one?
So is it just an additional thing?
We could record like an extra reaction one, couldn't we? I guess.
Yeah, we'll do an extra reaction. Well, I mean, it's not going to be that long, is it? The E3 shows were quite long because we went through everything, but doing one conference will only take about 45 minutes.
Well, I mean, there's every chance that we're going to see it and then just text you, just be like, yeah, Dave Mills, just watch it yourself, mate. It's not the
absolute washout.
Then you go, okay, let's do that. Let's try it. We don't know if this is going to work as well as the E3 one does. So don't get too pumped for it.
But it's worth a shot.
I can see you all getting excited. I can hear you all getting like.
But if it does work, excitement. If it does work, that just means we should have done all the others when we didn't.
Yeah.
So never mind.
Yeah, well, lessons learned. So next year, when it's James's turn again, we'll do all of the others. All right.
Yeah. So basically on Thursday 23rd, 5 p.m, we will be doing a talk server, but it was just me, Sean, and James. Mm-hmm. No David. We're going to watch the show, talk over it as we would normally do on Twitch, and then we'll do a special podcast afterwards where we reveal exactly what happened to David.
Right. End of the news. Calling it there. You're not doing any more news, James. Chill out.
Good.
I'm not.
Thanks.
You banged on for too long. I'm cutting the news short. We're doing what you've been playing. And the first game that I'm looking at on this list, I'm very excited to hear about, is, of course, the next iteration in a legendary series on this show is Trackmania. Matt, Sean, you've been playing this.
Yep.
What's it like?
I mean, Matt, do you want to go first?
Yeah. So this is just called Trackmania. I mean, I haven't. I don't know the full history of Trackmania.
Don't you? You love it when games do that. And they drop everything, call it that.
It's a nice little reboot and a branding. I mean, like, how many games have there been on PC in the past, Sean? Because I've heard about this game for many, many years through other podcasts and other people talking about it. I never really had gaming PC, I guess, when it was out. But obviously, I really got into it. We all did, I guess, when it came out on console. But how many PC releases have there been in the past?
Off the top of my head, and there's going to be stuff missing here. So there was Trackmania. There was Trackmania Sunrise. That was the first one I played. There was Trackmania United. I think it was Trackmania Nations was another one. And then eventually they did Trackmania 2, but then that was split into 3 different releases. There was like Canyon, Stadium, something else. Then there was Trackmania Turbo, which was so historically it was a PC-focused series. And it was quite sort of scrappy, to say the least, like the menus and stuff. Basically, if you weren't like a regular PC gamer, it was quite daunting. But then Trackmania Turbo came out in 2016, wasn't it? And that was very much like, guess what, guys? It's on consoles now. We've made a decent user interface, and it's, maybe a bit stripped down compared to the PC stuff, but it was a lot more accessible, and it was still fucking great. And now we've got Trackmania, just Trackmania, which is actually, I mean, really, it's a remake of, or not remake of, but it's an update of Trackmania United, I think. The stadium stuff, basically. The stadium stuff. So there's only one car type and one track type, although the things that people do within that is absolutely incredible.
The one car type, if you played Turbo on console, there's like a touring car or like a NASCAR style vehicle. There's like dirt buggy type things, and then there's the car that's in this, which is kind of like a Formula 1 car or F2 car, maybe.
Yeah.
But it like the tires it has do have like it's not on slicks. It has like some grip on the tires, but incredibly like well polished or like driver model. It's not really one for like drifting, although there are services in this game where you can drift. But yeah, it's that Formula 1 style car. Which David, I know I mentioned to you when I did. I think I've done a stream or 2 on this game in the last week or so, and I've said, with me and you, Dave, we're absolutely hammering Trackmania Turbo, and we're playing it on that holiday or 2 we had as that family holiday together. And like, you would love what the sort of NASCAR style vehicles, wasn't it, or the buggies? And I would love
it was the touring car stuff.
Yeah, you would love touring car tracks, and like, I would love the same vehicles in this, like the F1 style car. And when we would take it in turns to do the tracks, we were classed like the F1 ones as like my home tracks, and like if it was like the touring car ones.
You're just exposing us for being very, very sad people.
No.
But it's all true.
There was a system, yeah. But to get together the actual game, fundamentally, the racing in this game is amazing. Like it's maybe missed Trackmania. I absolutely love Trackmania Turbo, and the racing model in this is up there with like the best racing games I've played since. I haven't really ever felt the same way about racing games as I have since I've like played and loved the Sega races. Mm-hmm. Like the model is just so perfect. Like you know where to put that car, like, and you know instantly if you're a millimeter out, where you know you're losing speed if you haven't quite clipped the corner correctly, or you've gone on a bit of grass, or you know where to put that. It's not easy, but there is confidence in the driver model. You know that if you've got the the sort of the courage, as it were, to really like lock on left or right to go around the corner, you know that the car will probably do it. It's just whether you feel like you can actually keep the car going around that corner. You're not worried, well, if I do that, is the car going to spin, or is it going to be weird? Like, you know exactly how a driver model works. I liken it a bit to like a pixel perfect platformer, like say Celeste. You've got such confidence in the model, the platform model in Celeste. You know where to put the character, and I think this is like the racing equivalent. You know exactly where to put that car. It's not easy, and the tracks are coming at you at such a speed, and the various surfaces and stuff, which we'll come to, and tracks obviously can be quite complex, but when you get it right, it feels amazing to absolutely nail a corner. I get like multiple sort of like really euphoric moments playing this game in a race if I absolutely nail a corner, and I know I can feel it in my bones. I did that corner absolutely perfectly. You know, I let off the gas around at the apex. I held right, and I just like kept powering through, and it feels amazing. I don't know if you felt those sort of moments, Sean, playing this.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, what's always fascinated me about Trackmania is generally with racing games, I lean much more towards like the arcadey side of things. I enjoy driving games, but I don't take them too seriously. But this is the one where it makes me want to sort of have that sort of really detailed thing, that sort of almost forensic approach to corners and tracks and stuff, because it's, I mean, and if you're like me and you're hearing all this and thinking, oh, it sounds like a bit of fucking hard work, it makes this stuff way more accessible, I think, than like a proper sort of sim, like a driving sim game. Because most of those I don't have the patience for. Whereas this, I feel like I'm able to start thinking about it seriously, and it's fascinating because it does all this. Like, it is like a very serious driving game, but it knows it's a computer game. Like the tracks themselves are just ridiculous. Like you could just make like a standard like Formula 1 style track in it if you wanted, but what you will find when you as you go through the tracks, there's still like boost pads, and there's jumps, and there's loops, and all sorts of stupid shit. So it's like, it is a really serious racing game, but it's got that like stupid element as well. And it's just a really fascinating combination of the two. And it's like you say, that feeling of it, like, as you're going around a corner when you've fucked it, and like when you're halfway through a lap and you're just like, fuck, this is it, this is the run. This is the one. This is going to be a good time.
Like a nervousness, like,
yeah,
okay, I've done that bit that I struggle on, and I've nailed that. If I now just hold on, I've used the word hold on a lot in my streams recently, because I'm like, you're going so fast. Like, I just need to just perfectly execute in what I've done up to now. And it's definitely that sort of feeling of nervousness and excitement and trying to get it done perfectly, because you've nailed it up to them.
Like, because it's because it makes it quite easy to race against your friends' ghosts. For those of you who've not played Trackmania before, you never, like, you can race with other people, but you never, like, they're all ghosts effectively. Like, you can be racing against other people live, but you'll never collide with them, right? It is purely a time trial game, really. But like, I can race against Matt's ghosts, for example, and like the amount of times that we can be like neck and neck, and we both go into a corner, and then I will bottle it, and I'll just come off the accelerator a little bit, and you don't, and you shoot off, and it's like, fuck. Like, I could have... it was just nerves. Like, there was no...
Can I ask a question about that? Because I think I saw this right. I could be wrong. But does it put your speed on the back of the car now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see that on the other ghosts?
Oh, I don't know.
That'd be interesting.
I mean, you're often going so fast. I've never looked. I think not, but I don't know.
I'm not sure. That's a good question, though. Yeah,
because that was one of the great things about racing against ghosts in what is it, the Trackmania Turbo?
Yeah.
What was great about that is that you would focus on when people were braking, because you knew that made a big difference to what they were doing and what times they were going to get and stuff.
Because you see the brake lights going, wouldn't you?
You just see the brake lights flash up, and it gave you a lot of information. So I wonder if that is visible. And I suppose if you can't see it, you can't see it, can you? So it's not really going to make much of a difference.
Yeah,
Sorry.
This game, in terms of structure, it's a bit all over the place. Yeah, so it is just time trial, as Sean said, but there is like a big training. I think there's like 25 or 27 training tracks, and they might, they're called training tracks. They're basically like tracks that have various different elements to them that you may see in other tracks, and maybe you build yourself, other people can build. And then on every training track, there's like, if you get a certain time, you get a certain medal, from like no medal to bronze, silver, gold, and there's like another one on top. I think it's called author. Or something
the author
weird.
medal. So that's basically the person who made the track. It's their time that you've beat.
Yeah,
so,
and I had fun just going through all those like training maps, but as well as that, there are, other modes are coming soon. There's like an arcade mode, which is I haven't actually played arcade mode. So what is arcade mode, Sean? Have you played?
I don't know. I've not had a proper look. And then and what's the one that says coming soon? It's called something else, isn't it?
That's called events.
Oh, so that's right.
Not quite sure what that is. Yeah. But the ones I've been playing most are, there's one called Summer 2020. And I believe that is. It looks like a calendar of tracks, and basically, I assume that will just rotate, and come like autumn or winter, there will be like a new series of tracks. So
that's
basically,
right,
again, there's like tons of tracks, and like 25 to 30. And then again, you need to get good times to get medals and stuff. But there's also daily tracks, and that's where I've had the most fun, and that's where like Sean and I guess, have been playing like the most like separately as well. And so every 24 hours a track is live, and then you basically have to set a great time. Basically how it works is there's a half an hour sessions that run all day for 24 hours. And so you play it whenever you want. You can be in the middle of a half an hour session and play a bit, and obviously there will be a new half an hour session. And in for everyone's half an hour sessions, there was like a winner. If you can get the best time and whatnot. And that's been really, really good because in these sessions you can restart as many times as you want. But you have half an hour to set the best time, and so you're constantly trying to race and beat your time and get up this leaderboard. And some of these tracks, I'm not sure what the limit is in terms of number of players, but I've seen tracks where it might have like 100 or 100 plus like people, like ghosts bobbing around this track trying to get the same time or trying to get a great time.
And it's great because you see,
that's brilliant.
Yeah, like watching other people's ghosts, like, because it's one thing. So if I'm racing on a track and I'm like, so say I've loaded up Matt's ghost, and I'm just trying to beat his time. Like, obviously that's useful because I can see what he's done and I can take pointers from it. And you get that when you play with other people online, but also you get this the sort of encouragement of seeing where other people are fucking up as well. So if you like fly straight, you end up flying off the track or straight into a wall or whatever, and then about another 5 or 6 cars just do the same thing at the same time, and you're like, good, I'm not a complete idiot. That's just like that's a common mistake. Whereas if you're always just racing against people's best times, you'd never see that stuff. So there is value in just playing alongside like tons of other people, I think.
Yeah, and as well as that, you can set up clubs and stuff, and we've set up like a TCGS club. Yeah. I think currently there's like 4 members, me, Sean, and a couple of other people. So if anyone's listening to this and you've got Trackmania, it is only out on PC right now, and I don't know what their discussion is about console releases, but right now it's PC only. But if you've got Trackmania, search for TCGS in there, and then there is a club, in which case basically that lists the times other people have got in the club, and that's really exciting too. Like I was playing the other night, and I was like, okay, so a new track just came on, and I can see like Sean's time and the other 2 members' times, and it's like trying to beat them is brilliant. And we see them like log in as well. Obviously I'm friends with Sean on like Uplay, which is what we're playing it on, and like see it logging in, and then you're like looking at the time and stuff. But that's just immensely exciting, knowing that like the 24-hour session is about to run out in like next 10 to 15 minutes, and you've got to just keep going to try and get this better time and beat not only like the people in the session you're in, but like knowing the times of the people in the club that you're racing against.
Yeah, like that sort of asynchronous nature of it is really cool as well, because obviously we, all being grown adults, we often struggle to find time to play games together, whereas actually just like you say, having that sort of every 24 hours new track goes up and you've got 24 hours to set a time, and then and that all gets recorded, doesn't it? It's like you can view like the current month and see what times everyone got on it on every track and stuff. So that's just like a constant sort of ongoing thing, but we don't have to be on at the same time. Because when I think I talked about this a month or two back, and I was saying like it's interesting because the game itself and how it plays, like nothing really needs changing there. It'd just be cool to see the infrastructure around that updated, and they kind of have, but it's still like the interface is weird. I mean,
it's one of the worst interfaces I've ever seen in the game. It literally is like, hey, the game's finished. It's 12:30 on a Friday. We spent a week doing it. Oh, last minute, like fuck no. Did you do the UI? No, I thought Peter was doing. No one's done the UI. Like it is terrible, and it was like it must be like their first. I mean, obviously it isn't their first go. I can't believe people have actually sat around and thought about the best UI for a game, and this is what they come up with.
Well, because this is what's so strange is all the old, like all the previous PC ones, like the menus were much even worse. It was like looking at like an old website or something. It was absolutely bizarre. Like, but then Trackmania Turbo happened, and the menus and that are fine. Like nothing wrong with those. So. It's a step back.
To give you an example, you can go to like the clubs. Like it's in tabs. You press. I mean, I'm playing with like an Xbox pad connected to my PC and using RB and LB to like switch between these tabs. And you can go to the clubs tab and you'll see, at the top it's got a picture of the TCGS club. You can click that to go into a club, see times and skins we've uploaded and stuff. And then beneath that, it's got other clubs, and it must have like hundreds. I mean, obviously it could go up every day. Hundreds of basically pictures of other clubs. And you could keep scrolling for ages, just like tons of boxes with like an image and a name of it. Like, there's nowhere to filter. Is it filtered by, like, it's not alphabetical.
Yeah,
but there's nowhere to say, okay, I want to show like the most active clubs, recent. It's just like a list of literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clubs, which you cannot spend ages just pressing down on the controller. And it's the same with like, is it like tracks or like, what do they call it, like sort of collections of tracks? I guess people made little tournaments, haven't they?
There's like little, like playlists, aren't they? Essentially, I think so. Like, I think the idea is that, so anyone who's part of, like, for example, the TCGS club, we can all upload our tracks, and then people can find the TCGS club and play all the tracks that we've uploaded.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
As like a little playlist, and so it's like showing you all these clubs, but as you say, there's no suggestion of what criteria has been applied to like I mean day one the game launched, every time you load up the main menu, one of the like supposedly featured clubs was just one where people just recreate loads of Mario Kart tracks, which is great.
There's loads of that,
but I was like, does Ubisoft know that this is on their this is on their
it's
game?
Like it's a test server. There are also loads of like collections where it just says like test 1 or like test this. It's like, Is this a real live in the game?
Well, because this is the other thing is that so say you've bought the game and you've made a skin, right? Which, don't get me started on that, pain in the arse. You made a skin for your car. You can't then just go to your like profile and change the skin of your car. You have to create a club and upload the skin, and then apply it. Right, so if you're just on your own and you haven't like no intention of creating your own club, you just have to make it. I just have to be like, Sean's Racing Club or whatever, and then just upload the skin. So that's that. Which is, and I understand it must be an infrastructure thing. Like obviously, it's got to be uploaded to a server so that other players, So if you just join a server with people who've never met you before, then that skin is definitely like registered online, I guess. But it's just very unintuitive. When you're editing the skin on your car, you can import stickers, right? Or you can import entire skins if you wanted to like do a skin in Photoshop and then just import it straight in. But like stickers, right? And you think, oh great, so I can just get images off my hard drive. Surely. No. What you have to do is, if you want like a logo, for example, the computer game show logo on your car, you have to save it as a TGA file, a Targa file, and you have to like name it. I can't remember what the naming. There's like a special naming convention you have to use for one of the images, and then you also have to save a 64 by 64 pixel version of it and save it in the same folder but with like a slightly different name, and that's like the icon for the sticker. And then you've got to put.
It's
then
like
you've got
old
to put
school PC modding. It's like old school PC modding.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've got to put them in like a specific folder, and then you can import it into the game. And it's just like, why is any of that? Why can't I just click a button and go, there's
like the most
JPEG,
basic shit in games
on.
now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just bizarre. It's really bizarre.
All that stuff is insane and weird, and it kind of just freaks me out. Like, how has this happened?
Yeah.
How is this the result of any sort of people working together, or just one person working together and saying this is the best it could be? Yep. It's insane.
Low priorities, isn't it? That's what that is.
It's for the fans, isn't it? It's such a great game, and that is why it kills me that it seems to have no interest in bringing new people in, where like Trackmania Turbo did, right? Like that seemed like such a step forward in terms of getting new people into the game. And all right, maybe the hardcore fans weren't as pleased with it. I don't know, but as a long-time fan of the series, I was just delighted that it got more people playing it, and I'd hoped that lessons would be learned from that and taken forward. Whereas actually, it seems very much like they're just gone, no, we're just going to do another PC one like we've always done them. Which is weird. It's just really weird and a missed opportunity, I think. But it's fucking great. Like, it's just a shame about the infrastructure
racing is
stuff.
just so good. And there's also these, in certain tracks, there's these pads on the floor, one of which might be a turbo. Others, like certainly that had in Trackmania Turbo, where it would maybe cut the acceleration.
Yeah.
And so then like you don't want to brake because there's no way to accelerate, but there might be like tricky bits where it might basically feel like it forces you to brake, but you've got to find a way around these things. There's also another one. I think this is new, but there's one where if you go over this certain pad, you're unable to change the steering. Oh, that's right. Yeah, those are absolutely brilliant. There's like one of the earlier training tracks where you see like tons of posts in front of you, but you've got like you're going to go over this pad where you can't then change the direction of the car, and to like go from going really really fast to then go over this pad, and you've got to like make sure like threading for a needle to get through these posts it's brilliant. I think I've seen loads of really really creative tracks being built using these. It's really awesome to see. Yeah,
like there's so much imaginative stuff. And like, but what's really cool is when you first start it and you go on the training tracks, and like literally the first track is like 2 corners, right? And it takes about 7 seconds to do it. And you're like, right, well, drive forwards, okay, turn around that corner, finished it, right, what's next? And the game's like, bronze medal. And you're like, what? What else could I have done?
So how could I have improved that?
Exactly. And then you go, all right, well, let's see the ghost for the silver time then. And already you start seeing differences in the way you can tackle these things. And that's on a course with just 2 fucking corners on it. So when you extrapolate that out into a full course that's supposed to take 2 or 3 minutes and has like, say, jumps and loops and boosts and God knows what else, it's fascinating. It's such a good driving game. It's just, I just wish it wanted more people to play it. I think.
I hope to God this, or like just a new Trackmania comes to console. I mean, again, when I was streaming, people were like, "Oh, have I got this?" And like, I think Trackmania Turbo may be on PS Plus. It's definitely on Game Pass, currently on Xbox. So if you've got an Xbox and it sounds good, Trackmania Turbo is absolutely amazing. Yeah. And it UI wise, it's perfectly serviceable. It's not like this. Disaster we just talked about. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this makes you want to get more into Trackmania Turbo if it means I'm more people playing and stuff. But I've had such a great time playing this. I wish it was on console. The driving is just impeccable. It's such fun. I love the asynchronous, being each other's times and stuff. It's just it's an absolutely brilliant racing game. Yeah, totally. And it's worth pointing out as well. This is free to play. But the system around it is weird, isn't it? It's like the free version, you can basically, you can do races. I think you can do online races with other people. Then there's like standard access? Yeah, so there's basic access, standard access. And then club access. Club access, yeah. And I think standard is like 10 or 15 quid.
and that gets you sort of some of the perks. But then, in order to do the cool club stuff, you need club access, which is it 30, 40 quid?
Yeah, 30. Yeah. So it's 15 quid a year, and this is like 30 quid a year.
Well, and this is the weird thing, is that they've made it like an annual model. So on the one hand, you're sort of having to explain, well, yeah, it's kind of a free-to-play game. But is it likely that a lot of players would just pay the 30 quid for the first year and that's enough for them? Or like, how many people are they really going to be rinsing for this annually?
It means they wouldn't have to bring out a new Trackmania next year. Like, for those people that, I suppose, I mean, how much was Trackmania Turbo when it came out? It weren't full price, was it?
No, it wasn't. It's like 20, 25 quid, I think.
I think this would do great if they released a new Trackmania, like a brand new Trackmania on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Because, going by the deals that people saying, and then people actually going out and buying it after that, on console, they'd have that initial buzz of, it's a brand new game that's launching on Game Pass. I think a lot of people would try it out and then realise how good that series is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if it's a case of, okay, I want more features, I'll pay the 15, or I want to create a club and get more serious into it, and I'll pay 20 or 25, 30 quid a year for it.
Yeah,
totally. But I so want this on console.
And it's worth pointing out as well, like, for the amount of content, admittedly, most of it user-generated, but, like, it's really good user-generated stuff. Like, this is this community's been using the same tools for like 10, 15 years, and they're fucking good at it. So there's just loads of brilliant stuff. Like Matt was saying, the track of the day, there's a new one every day curated by the devs, and they're all like user-made tracks, and they're brilliant.
Yeah.
So
I'm so glad you can save them as well. I've saved like a bunch so far already. It's only like 5 or 6 days old.
Oh shit! I just had a thought with that stuff. Because the user generated stuff was on the console version and stuff. I never saw what I should have expected to see, and this is the first level from Mario Kart 1. This is the Rainbow Road from the N64 one. You never see any of that, do you?
Yeah, I mean,
unless I didn't.
Yeah, that's certainly the user-generated stuff is very much at the forefront of this, where it wasn't so much with Turbo, was it? It was that you could have a good time with. I mean, the Turbo came with more tracks from the developers. Tons
of them.
Yeah, but I mean, so the point is, that there's so much to do, and there will be for years to come. That annual fee is pretty good value for money, if you ask me. But
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
If you're listening to this and you got it, search for TCGS Club. We want more time to try.
Yeah, we've got a skin and everything.
Yeah,
it took me about half an hour to figure out how to do it. So make use.
Yeah, nice one. Matt, did you have anything else on your list?
I played Gato Roboto today.
Oh yeah,
what's that?
That's a good game.
It is.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah. So I did a morning stream, and I didn't really know what to play, but I wanted to do a stream. And Cammy told me, I said, I think I might have said I might just go on Game Pass and see what's out there. And he's like, here's loads of good games on Game Pass, and Gato Roboto was top of the list, so I downloaded it. And I knew nothing about the game. I saw the pictures on when I was downloading it on Game Pass, but that's about it. And it wasn't until I started, I was like, oh, it's a Metroidvania. And obviously, if you're listening, you remember recently you've been playing Super Metroid. It's kind of soured me on the whole genre, which I've said up to now.
Imagine that, like Super Metroid has soured you on Metroidvania. It's just that's an incredible statement.
I know, but it's true. It's sad. I've loved them up to them, but that game was like the controls just did my nothing. I was like, oh, it's just a drag. Anyway, after Cammy tricked me and he was like, oh, we got him, guys. It's a Metroidvania. What I played about 5 hours. I mean, apparently it's a 3 to 4 hour game. I think about 5 hours in, I've still got another hour and a half to go, apparently. But for what I played, I'm absolutely loving it so far. The controls are brilliant. I'll say that.
Would you say it was better than Super Metroid?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
undoubtedly at this point.
Interesting.
That's incredible. I mean, what an incredible statement. Go on.
I mean, the controls are brilliant. I mean, I can't fault the controls. I know where I'm going. I know if I press a certain direction, like it's really. It's not. I mean, I think I might have said, "Oh, this is." you really know exactly where you're going. It's not quite as pixel perfect as I'd like it, but it still feels good. I'm still got confidence in that where I'm going to go. I know the trajectory of a character if I jump, so on and so forth. I've had a couple of tricky bits in the stream this morning, but generally really happy with the controls. But it's got all the hallmarks of what was good about Super Metroid. The music's fantastic, and the exploration's really, really good. It's got a bit. The story, I'm not quite sure what's happening. You're basically a cat that's been directed by this other dude, and you're there to like explore and basically trying to, I presume, escape. I don't know. You're basically a cat essentially, and your cat that can wear a suit to go underwater and do other little things, or you can be the cat on its own if you want to get through little small gaps. And yeah, you find things along the levels like different filters to change how the game looks, which I think is pretty cool. Like, and it's mostly just color. Color. It's not like a massive visual change other than literally the colors of the game that you're seeing, rather than like textures and whatnot. But yeah, I think that's really neat. And every time I get one new one, I'm like, okay, I think I'm for this look. I'll go with that new look, and then I find another one. And yeah, but yeah, I'm really surprised just because I know nothing. I'd heard of the game. I think I presume like from you, Sean, who might have mentioned it in the past, maybe you as well, James. But having known nothing about it and downloaded it, I was really pleasantly surprised. I just loved pretty much everything about it. And I think if I get time, I'm going to go back again tomorrow, which will be Tuesday, when you hear this, and hopefully go back and finish it. Because, like I said, I think Cammy's like, it's only a 3 to 4 hour game. You'll get us done this morning. Not the keys, because they struggled on the boss.
Yeah, hold my beer.
Yeah, exactly. Short game. I'll show you short game, mate. But no, Gato Roboto, absolutely brilliant. And it's, this is, after playing Super Metroid, I think this might have restored my love for Metroidvanias.
It's wonderfully condensed, isn't it? Because obviously, generally speaking, Metroidvanias people associate with like, massive sprawling maps and loads of secrets and hours of playtime just digging everything up. And it feels like it's got all of that stuff just in a quarter of the time. It's just, it's really nice.
Yeah, it's definitely condensed, and I really appreciate it for that. I don't feel overwhelmed. I mean, but again, I've loved other Metroidvanias that do that. But yes, I'm a big fan of it so far, and I'm excited to get it finished. Other than that, I played Hitman again on Sunday. I mean, I feel like I love this game more every time I play it.
It's good,
first stream, first week. I felt a bit embarrassed afterwards. Like, okay, just like bumbling, making loads of mistakes, silly. The second stream, much better, much more confident. And then Sunday stream, more confident. I'm enjoying basically so much of it. I'm really, when I go into a level, and obviously I'm playing all these for the first time, I'm like, thinking about the possibilities straight away. I every time I go into a new room or new location or new area, I'm like, okay, what can I do now? And it's been really fun playing with both like the ways to get kills creatively, to find the targets, to hide, to if things go wrong, I'm not like, hey, instant restart. I it's been fun to try and fight my way out of it or hide my way out of a situation. And yeah, I mean, I really am absolutely loving this game. So I'm playing like the Hitman 2016 levels currently. Amazing listener Reese Miller sent me a code for the original Hitman 2016 levels after I'd got Hitman 2, so I'm still playing through the 2016 ones, but and then I'll make my way onto Hitman 2 after that. But absolutely brilliant. And it's just a joy to play. It is a great streaming game as well. Because I think there's a possibility.
It's like
for
a reverse engineering puzzle game, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
The idea is
great when you pick up something creative. Like, okay, so I've got exploding golf ball. Obviously, there will be a golf in this somewhere in this level. How can I utilize that? What does that mean? Or if you pick up something really random, like, okay, well, I don't know how I can use this. And then even now, like, okay, I want to go back and do the same level different ways or get different, because there was both mission stories which you discover as you play the level, and that might. So actually, no, this mission story means you should kill this person or do this or do that or explore this or discover that. And there's also objectives or challenges within each level to say, okay, can you kill someone by drowning them or by using a certain item in the level? So there's absolutely tons of ways to go back and play it differently. The Sapiens level, which I played on Sunday, I spent like first 2 hours or so playing it a certain way, it went up and down. There was some mistakes, but ultimately I killed the targets and did the objectives. And then I played it again and did it in like half an hour by doing it like the other way around. I did like the objective I saved first time, did that first rather than last, and then I did the other two after that. And I'm absolutely loving it so far. It's a brilliant game.
Sapiens.
It's great. It's great how
good.
all those ideas sort of piece together just by observing things, by looking at your target, and they're going, okay, so they eat a canapé there, but they go to the toilet here and leave their bodyguard outside, so that's another like, oh right, I could do this and this. It's you piece it all together. It's well good.
I'm loving it. And that's it for me. Obviously, Animal Crossing was sort of I'm not going to talk about it, but we got kind of back into it because LED's massively into it. That's all I'm going to say.
All I'm going to say is that June update is the final straw. Final straw for me. I'm done. I haven't played it since Friday, I think, or Saturday when it came out. I was just like, fuck this. But I'm done. I am tapping out now. You got to admit, James, that June update is fucking rubbish.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I'm not defending that game. I've got issues with it myself that we can talk about later on the Game of the Year show, maybe, if it even gets that far.
Way later then. Fair enough. Sean, you've got some more to tick off.
I've got a few. Two of them will be quick, one of them will be a bit longer, but still playing Spider-Man. It's fully got its hooks in now. Really, really enjoying it. The story has fucking kicked up a notch.
I'm so happy. Yeah, you mentioned today on the WhatsApp, I'm still playing it. And I part of me thought maybe you might jump off, but I'm so happy you're still playing it and keeping on with it because
it's been a nice because it's been a while since I've had just like a standard go-to game, and I don't want to think about what I'm going to play in the evening. Good, I'll just play Spider-Man and I will definitely have a pretty good time. You
were talking about Yakuza like that, weren't you? And then that's where the fear comes from. I mean, you loved Yakuza, didn't you? And then,
they just binned it.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. What was the other one? What was the other one, Sean? I've forgotten the other one.
I mean, the game he didn't play God of War.
Oh, that's true. I know he started God of War.
There was another one that he started, said that he loved, and then just never went back to. I can't remember what it was now.
Destiny
2. Sorry, Sean.
So, Death Stranding. No, that was Matt. Go on.
Sorry, James, I missed that.
Sorry, it was a bad joke.
Okay, that's fine.
Continue.
So still really enjoying that. I'm just quite surprised with like where the story's going. I mean, it's not like shocking, but it's just it's been really interesting. Still playing a lot of Beat Saber. I've sorted out getting custom tracks on it, the user created ones, which has been a really interesting experience because it turns out a lot of the community not very good at doing the maps for it. Like I just went in. It's pretty cool. The way it works on the Quest is you side load an app, and then that sort of patches your copy of Beat Saber, and then you're like, okay, and then it basically takes you to a web browser in the Quest, and from there you can just search like for shitloads of custom Beat Saber songs, and there's fucking loads of them.
Do you have to download them, or do they stream?
You download them, yeah. So you literally, it's just a website. You click a button, and it's like, right, downloaded. And then once you've done a few, there's like a button in the top right which says like synchronize with Beat Saber. You click that, it takes a couple of minutes, and then you load up Beat Saber, and the tracks are all there. Which it's amazingly slick for obviously this is all just the game being hacked. Like you're not supposed to be able to do this, but which is weird in and of itself because obviously the devs know that this is going on. But so it's a weird situation.
It literally can only benefit them.
Well, yeah, this is it.
You need to buy the game to get this stuff, I assume.
Exactly, and it's why, because I held out on getting the Quest version for so long. I was like, oh man, I'll try and wait until it's on sale. This game will never be on sale because it doesn't need to be. Like, it's just such a runaway success. And as you say, because people know they can just buy the game and then just get custom tracks for it forever. Like, why would they ever discount the game? So I just went through and downloaded songs that I like, right? I found like a bunch of Radiohead stuff. There was, what else? I found like, some tracks from the Scott Pilgrim game soundtrack, which is like an all-time. I was like, oh man, this is going to be so good. Some really weird picks on there. There was like a couple of Tricot songs. They're like a Japanese sort of math stroke, post-hardcore band, I guess. So really surprised to see them there. I was like, fuck, this is brilliant. I'm going to have the best time ever. All absolute dog shit. Either, like, we talked about before, like, the cool thing about Beat Saber is that when the devs make the tracks, they obviously understand what, the motions that feel cool or natural to pull off. So when you get, like, a flurry of notes, you don't have to necessarily see all the arrows on the notes, right? Because the devs just design it in a way so that if you just swing from one note to the next, you're probably swinging it in the right way. And that's when you get that really nice, like, flow, and you don't necessarily have to be, like, it sometimes just feels like you're going on instinct, right? And it's a really good feeling. But when that's not done right, that completely goes out the window, and it's just horrible to play. So I was like, oh, fuck, this has probably been a complete waste of time. And then I just went back and went, actually, do you know what? I'm just going to look at, like, what the community recommends, like, highly rated songs. So then, so basically got, like, a load of Prodigy stuff. There's, like, a Camel Fat track and, like, a bunch of others. And they're fucking wicked. Like, Invaders Must Die by the Prodigy, fucking amazing. It drives me crazy. Fine Young Cannibals, absolutely brilliant. And Faith by George Michael, fucking hell. Honestly, I haven't smiled that much in months.
It's a great song.
It is, and it's so well done in Beat Saber. Honestly, I was like laughing as I was doing it. It was so fucking good. It's just been so well implemented.
Are these things hard to make, Sean? Do you know?
I don't know. I mean, they must be, right? Because obviously, here's me turning my nose up at, like, community efforts, whereas it's probably actually quite hard to do, right? I don't know what the editing tools are like.
I'll do one.
I am tempted, like,
Sean,
I am really tempted.
You've got to do Candle in the Wind.
No,
oh my God.
Well, yeah, there's that, but you've also got to do our theme tune.
I was going to say, TCGS theme, yeah. The full, I'll get the full original
get the extended
version.
Mix, get the full original version.
15-minute version.
I'll do that and stream playing it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because that's about the only thing I could do and not get the channel banned. So
do that.
That is actually tempting. I'll have a look into it. It's probably tons of work, but we'll
if
see.
Someone knows how to do it, can you get in touch or do it yourself?
I mean, you can just pay people. Some of the better known ones, they will just do it for a fee.
Well, look, take it out petty cash. You can't put a price on comedy.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
Get that done.
Yeah.
Get it done.
I'll have a look.
I mean, I wonder if there's, like, Green Grass and High Ties, like the really long one from Guitar Hero on there in Beat Saber.
I mean, probably, yeah. Like, there's a lot of. I mean, I think there's a lot of tracks in there that are, like, they've been made famous. Like, obviously, there's Dragon Force and shit, right? I was really annoyed. There's, like, several yeahs tracks, but not maps.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's weird. Like, what
brilliant.
The fuck? So that was a bit.
That was amazing on Rock Band.
Exactly. So that was weird, but so that's been a really cool thing to do, and now that I'm just open to just downloading tracks that I wouldn't necessarily like, but the community assures me have been well implemented for Beat Saber. Like, I'm gonna carry on digging through that.
Licky Boom Boom Down.
You're sorry?
Licky Boom Boom Down.
Oh, I've not looked. I bet it's fucking there though.
Yeah,
Licky Boom
Boom Down.
That you're going to Beat Saber
my
and do
God.
a rap on stage.
Luigi.
Whilst rapping as well. It'd be fun. It'd be fine.
Can I just say, before the emails come in,
Down.
Green Grass and the High Tides is on Rock Band, not Guitar Hero.
Ooh.
I do apologise, that was a mistake.
Naughty.
I think you said Rock Band.
Oh, no, I said Rock Band with a second example.
Oh, you said that with
Didn't
Matt.
say with the first one.
Okay, all right.
Can't be too careful these days.
Yeah.
All right, anything else?
Sorry, one more. Sorry, Beat Saber was meant to be a quick one, but so I've been playing Hardspace Shipbreaker, which is Shipbreaker, that is. And
another swear from Sean.
I know. With the 10p in the jar.
We're playing Hardspace Cunt Breaker. Fuck, I mean,
that would be
Could that be the show title, Matt?
Yeah.
I don't think that'll be allowed, Dave.
So,
fuck.
So this has come out in early access, but I mean, I don't get any whiff of early access about it. Like, it's a game where you are, it's like set in the future. You're a man who basically strips down like decommissioned spaceships, right? So like you've got this, like, you're in space, you've got this little work area, and you're surrounded by, so like beneath you there's like this barge that'll, like, that's for sort of like high value items like computers or chairs or whatever, like things that they would want whole, right, and could reuse elsewhere. And then also you've got like a furnace, which is for all your metals, and then a processor, which is for like polymers, plastics, whatever. And you've just got this, like, these like cutting tools and stuff, and a little jetpack, and you're flying around inside these ships, cutting bits out, putting them in the right bits, and that's it, right? On the surface of it, that is the entire pitch for the game. But fucking hell, it's satisfying. Like, when you first start, and you know, and it gives you like just some like bits of scrap metal to just practice with. Like, right, you have like a sort of a grapple gun. It's like a physics gun, right? So you grab stuff, you can pull it around, and you like practice. Like, right, chuck that in the furnace, chuck this in the processor, this in there, whatever. And then you learn how to cut, like how to find and cut through weak points in the infrastructure, to then sort of start separating bits out. And then you're taught that most spaceships are still pressurized on the inside. So if you just went like, oh great, a spaceship, I'll just fucking laser into it, you'll get a very violent reaction out of the ship, because
just explode, right?
Well, it doesn't just explode. It's like it does simulate like the.
Does a ship go bang, Sean?
It does go bang, go shoot you bang, and yeah, like all the air flying out basically and stuff, and like the stress that puts on the hull. Can like blow bits apart and probably kill you in the process. So you have to be like, right, where's the airlock? Get in the airlock, find the atmospheric controlled computer, depressurize it safely, and then you find to carry on working. But as the game progresses,
how simple is that though? Is that like just get in there, press a button?
I mean, more or less, yeah. But as it gets more, you start getting bigger and bigger ships as you go on, and they'll have several compartments that are all sealed off from each other. So you might have to figure out how to pick your way through, because obviously once you've depressurized one compartment, you can't then just open the door to the next one, because the air will fly through, and any like debris or any floating stuff will hit you and possibly kill you. So you've got to figure out ways to get safely around the ship, depressurize it bit by bit, and you just like when I first started playing it, I was taking out like like I say, the chairs, computers, panels and whatever, and firing them off into these different processors, furnaces, whatever. And then you start taking off like the bits of the outer hull, and you sort of go, okay, so I'm just stripping it, and then it'll just get to a point where I'm like, right, there's nothing more I can do to it, get a new ship in. But no, it's the whole buffalo. The whole thing can be stripped to nothing, and when you send and basically you strip it to the point that you're just left with this metal frame, and then when you just push that off into the furnace, it's the best fucking feeling ever, because you're like, oh my god, there was an entire spaceship here, and I've safely and methodically just dismantled the whole thing, and it's all just been perfectly recycled, and it's just bizarrely therapeutic. Like, it's occasionally a bit stressful. There's elements of it. So obviously there's there's somewhere like as you're detaching like the thrusters from the back, the more advanced ships, they've got like not complicated, but they've got like fuel lines. So you've got to figure out how to disconnect the fuel first before you take the engine out, and then there'll be like a reactor in it somewhere. And once you remove that, it's on a timer because it's starts becoming unstable. So if you go into a ship and go, oh brilliant, there's a reactor, try and pull it out, you'll probably get yourself killed. So you find the reactor room, and it's like, right, how do I remove like the nearest panel so that I can get this out of the ship really quickly and then into the barge below before it fucking blows up? And you and once you've done a few, you start learning quirks of like different manufacturers and different like different tiers of shipping. Like, oh well, this is a level 3, so make sure you cut the fuel lines on this one before you take the thruster. And in games like you come away and you sort of think, I could fucking do this. For real.
This is like life.
I'm a qualified engineer.
I know enough about this now. I can
ship down
for a
ships
job.
for a living. No bother. Which is nonsense, obviously. But there's that feeling of like, I feel like I learned something, even though it's fucking nonsense. Yeah, I absolutely love it. I don't know. Like I said, supposedly it's early access. I'm really excited to see what they're still planning on doing with it, because it seems pretty complete to me. I've put quite a few hours in, and I'm on like the sort of the 4th tier of ships, and I think there's like 10. So yeah, really good. PC only at the moment, as far as I'm aware. But I'm playing it with a controller, and the controls are perfect. So hopefully there's a console version on the way.
Well, we are PC heavy this week,
mate.
aren't we?
It's great. It's good time to be a PC lad.
All right. Okay. Well, we should probably. I mean, I've only been playing The Last of Us 2 because I have now completed The Last of Us 2. Absolutely hammered it this week.
Excellent.
James, you've also completed it.
Yeah, I've also finished it as well. Yeah.
Obviously, what we've got to say about it. I can't stress it enough. Like you can't go into this game without spoiling it. So we are going to leave most of the chat for the spoiler stuff, but I think it's fair to say that is an incredible game. An incredible game. Yeah. Like probably best in class, you know what I mean? In terms of a action, over the shoulder, big budget game like this, I don't think it can be beaten. No. Sorry, I also should point out, I'm not talking, there are action over the shoulder games that are clearly better gameplay wise. But I'm talking from this cinematic experience, which I think is easy to point out, like is important to point out. And very, it is a very linear game as well. So, in that class, I think it's the best we have seen. The story, the characters, the way it went, this so easily could have been more of the same. And in some aspects, like the combat, all right, it is vastly improved, but it is kind of more of the same. The sort of gameplay loop of little bit of exploring, little bit of story stuff, little bit of horror, and combat, that is still there. It is still very similar or true to the original game. And it is still true to those things, but it could have so easily just been that again, and it wasn't. Like in terms of story, the plot, and the way it went, and the decisions that it makes along the way, it feels like it really goes against the grain with what a sequel to The Last of Us should be. That it nails it. It really nails it. The characters in it. Although I stand by what I said last week, that the first portion of that game, there is that sort of lack of empathy and towards characters that I it felt like I should have cared about, and I didn't really. Those characters that I was talking about back then, that's still the case. However, later on, you meet new characters that you do have that emotional connection with, and it does achieve those goals. So that's way less of a criticism than I was worried it was going to be. I have, again, I can't really go into details, but I've been thinking about the ending a lot, because I wasn't disappointed. It's not a bad ending. I think the biggest problem that The Last of Us 2 had was that the ending to The Last of Us 1 was one of the best I've ever experienced in a game. And I said to you today, was it today, James, that I went back and watched the ending of the first game, either today or yesterday. And honestly, I was like, have I just built that up in my head? Was that a good ending that I thought, oh no, and because I've said it so often that I really enjoyed the ending, it's suddenly been built up as one of the best endings in a game. No, I went back and watched it again and was like, fuck me, that was perfect. Whereas here, I didn't have that satisfying punch to the gut. I didn't have that where everything either comes together or there's the right amount of subtlety, the right amount of character exploration. There's a portion towards the end of this game that I kind of thought, actually, you could have ended it earlier and it would have had more of a powerful impact.
Yeah, so this is where we don't agree, because I think it was absolutely superb, like the way that this ended, and I was I was very, very satisfied with how they finished this, and I mean, we'll talk about this because we're going to do something, aren't we? I think for this.
Yeah, we're going to do a spoiler cast.
Yeah,
for sure.
We're going to do a spoiler cast.
We absolutely have to.
This problem because I don't think. You see, I really don't know what I can say about this game now without talking about it in terms of like plot and the way things go. And that's so like integral to this. But I mean, it's a game which I think more than justifies the length that it is. I think, and that's something that we disagree on. I think maybe a little bit.
No, I mean the length of the game wasn't an issue for me. Like, I wasn't playing through those last bits going, this is too long, get to the point. At no point was I thinking that. But once I saw it in context, I was kind of like, what has this portion added?
See, this is what we need to discuss.
We need to
we've already
discuss it,
because we've talked about it a bit in WhatsApp and everything, but I think we need to really like look into that because I strongly believe that the last section of that game is absolutely vital to it, and without it, you really lose an awful lot.
See, I think we're going to end up agreeing because, James, I think the points you made about that last section were valid, but my point was they could have been bundled together with the other points that it was making very easily, and it would have been just as good. Like, I'm not sitting here thinking they shouldn't have ended it like that. Like, I'm not saying the ultimate ending of that game and where the characters get to in their overall arc and the point that the game was trying to make was wrong, because I don't think that was wrong. What I was saying was that it feels like that could have been done in a more impactful way. It was
massively impactful.
It was, yeah. That's what I
didn't
don't
find it massively impactful at all. I mean, I appreciated it. I mean, there was one scene right near the end that was superb. Like, we'll talk about that scene in Spoilercast. And sorry if you're listening to this and that's frustrating the hell out of you, but we'll get there. There's one scene at the end there that is fucking brilliant. But then there were a couple that was kind of like, okay, all right.
Well, there are things there that are there to sort of to clearly service the plot, which it doesn't feel like that throughout the rest of the game. Do you know what I mean? Like, everything else feels very well crafted, whereas I do appreciate what you're saying about how, the last section that we're talking about, it does feel like, there's stuff that's created there, there's stuff that are there to service a point. And maybe that does feel a little bit artificial, like the way that that's been constructed.
I do agree there.
Yeah. I think that's probably a good way of putting it. I think that's a good way of putting it. But we'll talk about that at length. There is also a bit in this game that is so shit that I cannot believe it's in the game. Like, it blows my mind that it made it into the game. It's so fucking shit. And what makes it so bad is that it's directly after some of the most incredible bits of the game and directly before some of the most incredible bits in the game, that I was kind of like, oh my God. But, every time I've told someone how much I hated this bit of the game, I just constantly say, it's not one of those moments where I'm going to go, this has ruined everything for me. It's more, that never happened. I'm just going to ignore that. That was just a weird little bit of the game. I'm forgetting that. That's fine.
Well, it is like you sort of come out that and you're like, well, that was a mistake. And then you just move on. Okay, to talk around it, right? You fight something, but James, have you looked up the name of the thing that you fight? I've not, no.
It'll make you laugh even more. Even more. I'll tell you.
Probably not as much as the typos when you were describing it to me did.
Oh, mate, my typos have been mental recently. I've been so tired that they've been worse than normal. But absolutely shocking. But looking back on that game now, I've had, I've distanced myself from being slightly unsure about the ending. Is probably the right way of putting it. And again, that's probably unfair, because one of my favourite things about The Last of Us was that ending, and it was never going to reach those heights. Like, I've had years to really, build up that ending in my mind and have it concrete as one of the best things in the game. With all that stuff involved, this is an incredible, incredible game. And as I said, so surprising in so many ways in what it does. And on top of that, some of the most tense action scenes, some of the really, really top quality. I didn't expect the shooting to be so good. All that sort of stuff is just, is cracking, man.
I just looked up the name of that. Why on earth have they called it that?
I don't know. It's hilarious. But okay, fine. I don't think there's anything else more that we can say. We're going to be talking about this a lot on our spoiler cast. So watch out on this feed. You won't need to go anywhere to get it. It will just it will appear on this feed, and we'll have that hopefully soon. When's the plan to get that out? If we record it when we plan to, Matt?
If we record it when we plan to, it will be out on Friday this week. Friday. So it'll be a separate download in the feed. It won't be part of this. It won't be added to the next episode. It will be a separate download. So if you're not interested in Last of Us 2 or you don't want it spoiled, don't play that. Don't download it, whatever. But for everyone else, it'll be as a separate download. I cannot wait to discuss this game. There's so much to discuss.
It's going to be interesting
for what is such a linear game. But there's a lot to discuss, I think, and I can't wait.
It's going to be interesting to talk to James about the ending. I think we're going to really disagree on a lot. But okay, fine. James, you have one more game on the list before we get to emails?
Yeah, I mean, the only other... this is just a really quick one because, I mean, Matt's talked about this quite a while ago when it first came out, I think. I mean, it wasn't when it first came out, no, because it came out on 360 and I played it in the last, couple of years. Yeah, you played... This is the remastered version,
of course,
Yeah, this is Mark of the Ninja Remastered, which is the one I think you played, and I have now played as well. I've finished today, actually. And it's brilliant. It's a fantastic game. I mean, I'm as I've said before, I'm not a huge fan of stealth games, but this is just about exactly right how I like stealth games to be, in that you can make mistakes, it doesn't matter, and you can kind of figure out your own playstyle to get through it. And it looks stunning. It's a really sort of nice length and with a good story as well. It's very good. I enjoyed it a lot.
It's an absolute excellent stealth game, yeah.
Yeah, I would really recommend it. It's really good.
Comes up quite a bit when Mark Brown, Game Maker's Toolkit on YouTube, did a series on stealth games, and gets mentioned a lot there because it's so clear about what your actions will do, isn't it? Like everything's really beautifully visually represented, and it's never like. A lot of the irritation with stealth games is often like, oh, but I thought he wouldn't see me here or whatever. There's none of that. Like it's all like the clarity of it is just unbelievable. I've never given it a proper go. I did like the first big proper level. I was like, oh man, this is great, and then never played it again, like a dick.
It's really worth going back to, and it's true. It's like any time that I did mess up, it always is like, yes, that was completely my fault. That happens. But you can get out of it. Mm-hmm. You can almost always get out of it as well, which is the other thing, which made it very enjoyable. And it honestly, it looks stunning. Like it still looks so good. And I know it's been out for a long time now, but I played it on Switch, and it looks really good.
It's by Clay, isn't it? I think. Clay Entertainment, and they did. Famously they did Don't Starve and Shank and all of those. Yeah, they've always had really strong visual design. I think it was them. Look. I
hope it is them because otherwise I've got the Clay Fighters theme tune in my head now, and that's going to be there for a while. Shame. Okay,
it is Sean. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's published by Microsoft Studios actually.
Oh, nice.
And by Clay. Yeah,
wicked. So I don't know why I said it's not my place. Are we done with?
Well, it is your place now because you're reading the emails out, Sean.
Well, they're not emails anymore, are they, Dave? Because now we've got our fancy new contact form.
Yep. So how do you get in touch?
If you want to contact us, you can go to tcgs.co/Dear TCGS, and you fill in a form, put a name in, preferably your own. And then hopefully we'll read them out.
Don't give me any ideas,
Make sure you write tcgs.co, not tesco.co.uk, because and then contact us, because then you whatever it is, sending in questions about what Switch games you should get to your kids to Tesco might go wrong. Go on.
Kurt Lewin's got it's not really a concern, but he says, does this new format for feedback and questions prevent James from deleting them? No, it doesn't, because they all still go in the Google Doc. And you can still just play merry hell with that while we're ideally at the start of the show when we're not looking at the bottom of the document. But what James actually often does is just like delete them as I'm reading them out. But whatever.
I know, because I haven't usually got to this point. I just, and then it's like I start looking at them and like, oh.
But you need to be more preemptive, because I wouldn't know. Like by the time we get to this bit, I'm like, oh, that's weird. There's only like one email.
I mean, the worst bit.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
The worst bit is not. I mean, delete. Obviously that's bad. We've had a history of that. It's more like when he's like selecting the text when you're trying to read it.
Yes,
it's like I can't even see what
unhelpful.
Deletes it.
And to be clear, like, it's not just James. Like, we obviously have to filter these down every week just for time and stuff.
Mostly James.
Yeah, it's often James. James just does it vindictively because he doesn't want to be here anymore. Maria Mendieta says, "Dear TCGS brand ambassadors, with Sean being a diehard FIFA fan and the others having a passing knowledge of the game, what would you like to see in an 18-rated EA football game?"
Sex.
Yeah? What, just shagging? What, just on the pitch, or... Are we talking like
sure.
sort of the journey stuff, but with a full sex scene?
I mean, John
how
Terry's
could you
not
make
playing
an 18
professionally anymore, so
rated? I mean, I suppose like chance with swearing in it, but then that wouldn't make it to 18, would it?
That's the first idea you've got.
Also, I mean, swearing players and swearing managers.
This is what you do. Matt sits back, lets people come up with ideas and go, "What's the best of you?" Come on, Matt, give us an idea.
I want a really mature story.
Go on, like what?
Not just like
when you say really
the
mature,
word fucking a chant
with shagging.
Come on, then, give us an idea for a mature story.
Well, yeah, I haven't got one.
Right, okay, so don't have a pop at me.
Something
also,
involving a gambling syndicate.
Yeah.
It has to be something like and to throw the games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
James, yes, with some sex and swearing in the chants. Got it. Let's do it. 2021.
2069.
Oh man, that would be
number.
interesting if they did release
number.
that.
It is.
That would they wouldn't be able to though, would they?
No.
Would they? No. It just. FIFA,
Well, I mean, you say
pointless.
that Grand Theft Auto gets sold to kids all over the place.
Good
I don't think it really
point.
matters.
Can you imagine though?
Good
They could do like FIFA, Sepp Blatter edition or whatever. It'd be so good.
Like,
wouldn't they?
could you
Wouldn't
imagine
get a license.
Microsoft
That's
coming
the
out?
problem, isn't it? Although he's got problems now.
He won't be
Microsoft
sanctioned.
coming out at their event and saying, "So we got a new Minecraft coming out," and all the kids go mental, and he goes, "Yeah, 18 rated, right? It's ultra violent, so yeah, forget about that one." I
guess if I'm thinking about what they could realistically do, is they could have horrific injuries, but I wouldn't want that.
No.
Is that what you
But I'm saying,
Maybe like
first
Mortal
idea?
Kombat style ones, like where
Fatalities.
it zooms in and like does the thing where you
Yeah.
see the bone breaking.
Well,
and
they
all
did
that
I'm
that
kind
glad
of
you've
stuff.
mentioned
in,
that because
Blitz,
there was that
didn't they? NFL Blitz or something.
there was that American football game that had the bones breaking and shit.
NFL Blitz, yeah. Can people not hear me? I've been saying NFL Blitz
Oh,
or
sorry.
whatever it was called. Yeah.
Everyone put you on mute, Dave.
Yeah.
It's about time. I mean, how long's it taken you? 209 episodes. Fucking hell. I think it was NFL Blitz that did that, where you would make a tackle and it'd zoom in and show the bones breaking and shit.
Yeah. Jacob
I don't want to see that.
has got 2 rapid-fire questions. The first one is, have you made the transition to wireless earbuds? If so, did you go for the AirPods Pro or the regular ones?
Regular ones.
And the old ones, because I haven't bought the Pros yet.
Beats X is what I use, because they're just like the Apple AirPods, but you don't have to keep putting them away if you're not using them. You just let them hang around your neck.
Because for some reason, Dave, you don't want to wear AirPods, and I don't quite know why. Because the moment you do, and you will buy them, the day you do, you're like, oh, fucking, these are amazing. Why didn't I
I'll
buy
tell
them?
you why. I'll tell you my list of reasons. They're boring, but I'll tell you my list of reasons. Firstly, I could just hang
we've
around.
heard them all.
Yeah.
I can hang around my neck
For years
so
now.
that's fine. Secondly, they're half the price of the cheapest AirPods. Thirdly, AirPods are horrific, Matt. Like the pod, I hate that. The fact that you can hear everything around you. I like the rubber tip bud things.
No,
I'm
I
not
mean,
gonna
AirPods
pay-
Pro, it's noise cancelling.
Yeah, they're 250 quid.
Fucking hell.
The Beats X are £90.
Yeah, the Beats X ones that you've moaned about
how
and
many
that keep
times have they
breaking all the
broken on you,
time.
Dave?
Right, so they break once a year. So that means that I could
Cool.
buy 3 years worth of Beats X for one pair of AirPods Pros.
Yeah, that never breaks.
They never break, no.
So
They're never going to fall out of my ear and roll down the road or some shit. Forget about it.
After hearing a bunch of good stuff about them, I rolled the dice on some Sound Pete's True Engine SE ones.
Roll the
yeah.
dice,
Mate,
they're like 12
They're
quid, aren't
fucking
they?
unbelievably good.
Yeah, I was going to get a pair of them too, Sean, yeah.
I mean, Matt, you have your 250 quid bullshit ones if you want. These are absolutely brilliant, and they're currently
How much are
on
they,
Amazon.
Sean?
They're like 33 quid. And they are...
Yeah, I've been tempted, but the only thing that puts me off is that some people say that when you're watching YouTube videos on them, there's a little bit of a delay, and that would do my fucking nutting.
No, not that I've noticed.
Oh, that's good.
No, I honestly blown away by them. I cannot quite believe how good they are. Stuck some comply foam tips on them as well. Yeah, they're absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, if you don't want to spend a fucking fortune, have a look.
I mean, I haven't got the AirPods Pro. I obviously desperately want them, but you know, the AirPods. When James and I first heard of them, we did a great interface episode about it. Actually, we were both saying these look rubbish. These are none of the features we both want, and then we bought them, and then probably one of the best things I've bought in years.
You can't even turn the volume up and down.
James,
one of the best
you
things
moaning about yours not connecting to your devices properly the other week?
Probably not. I don't
Yeah,
think
you were.
No.
You haven't told me about that, James. What?
You haven't shown me any names, Nick.
You haven't told me about the problems you got.
Hold on, you can't turn the volume up and down with them, can you? You still got to get your phone out to do that.
I use a watch.
Not with a Beats X, boy. Not with a Beats X. It's just press a
Yeah, I
little
thought I
thing
missed
on
that, but I don't, because I don't need to change the volume all the time.
You can tap the side. You can tap the side.
James, Sean, just be happy in the knowledge that Matt really wants these headphones and really loves them because he's his favourite YouTubers wear them. That's the real reason. That's the real reason.
No, he's going to have to do that in a way.
Get some Beats X, boy. Right, okay, next.
Sorry, that's my job,
What's
isn't
the
it?
next rapid fire question?
So yeah, next rapid fire question. During what hours do you typically play video games? As a father of two, the youngest being 10 months old, I seldom have the time or energy once the kids are in bed, and I've sorted the household chores. I mean, yeah, I don't know how you manage with two kids, to be honest.
Yeah, it's hard.
I mean,
after about 8:30 in the evening.
yeah,
8:30. Mine's between 10 and 12 is usually my gaming time.
Yeah.
2 hours a night. Yeah.
Do you want the answer I give Jill or the real answer?
I want the answer that you had in the 3 days after The Last of Us 2 came out. That's the answer that I want.
No, I mean, she knew I'd gone quite mad with that.
Did she say something like,
I went to bed
where
at
have you
midnight.
been?
What?
What did she say to you? Like, where have you been?
Oh, she knew I was in this room. Oh, she knew. Yeah, so, I'm quite insane, but I can play until like 3 o'clock in the morning if I'm
Just cannot do that.
Yeah, but I'm like, but yeah, typically between 9:30 and whatever time I want to, right?
okay.
Mummy, wow. I'm a big boy now.
1 minute past 12.
God. Do you remember that ever?
I do.
No, that's
Yeah,
ingrained into my
Augie
skull.
pull-ups. It's a classic.
Well, yeah. The other one that's ingrained into my head is push a push pop, push it for flavour, push a push pop, save some for later.
Don't push me, push a push pop.
Disgusting, those things.
Yes, move on.
Push pops were the biggest load of shit, weren't they?
They really were.
Absolute
The saliva
nonsense.
would drip down into the tube below, all over your thumb.
Yeah, disgusting.
Okay.
John Williams says, "Hi gang, loving the show as always, and the daytime streams are helping fill the quiet days at work. After emailing the show a couple of weeks ago, I managed to complete Life is Strange 2 before it left Game Pass, although this was at 4:30 a.m. the following morning, so I'm not sure how...
Here we go. That's the nice
not sure how
person.
it was still free. I also
the
played
fuck would
Captain
do that?
Spirit beforehand, thank fuck.
Good.
It says, what game it is. I was completely drawn in by the story, and at no point through the game did I feel like putting it down. Can't imagine having to wait months on end in between the episodes to find out the next part of the story. I must admit that I had already listened to the spoiler cast too long ago to remember most of the details, as I thought I'd never play the game. Having now played through it, I've listened to them all again, and it's fascinating hearing your choices and your takes on the story. There were a couple of times I realised I was the who the hell would make that choice person. Also, having not played the earlier games, I can confirm that the whole spoiler part of the story meant literally nothing to me. Anyway, not much to say other than thanks for recommending the game, and for the spoiler casts, I'm not sure I would have ever played it without listening to the pods. Now I just have to go and play the first two. Cheers again for the show and the streams. I'm really glad that he did play Captain Spirit, because we nearly steered him really wrong on that, didn't we? We just completely failed to mention it. What else we got? Louis Belfort says,
condense that into a tweet and copy the devs in.
Yeah.
That's the way to do
it. Louis Belfort says, "Hi Dave, I saw a Digital Foundry video showing the remastered version of Mafia 2 and it still looks amazing with all the visual upgrades. I'm tempted to give it a go. Do you think it would still stand up gameplay-wise 10 years later?"
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't played it since it come out, so I don't know if it'll stand up. I would say give it a go. If you get a couple of hours into where the game properly starts, because there's quite a lengthy intro to that game, like maybe 2 to 3 hours intro, and then the game starts proper. See what you think then. It might feel a bit strange now, especially the weird stuff where it was like you could get in trouble if you broke the speed limit. Like that was bizarre. But yeah. I mean, I give it a go. I still. I think I was really surprised with some of the stuff that it did. I thought it was just going to be like a GTA clone, and it's absolutely not that. So, maybe I should go back and play that. I really like that game.
A lot of people do.
But
it's one of those that, it's just a few people are like, just really stand by it. So I've always been tempted to have a look, but
yeah, number 2 was great. Yeah,
3 not so much, right?
Was brilliant. Sorry?
3 not so much, right? Is it?
Yeah, well, no, 3 was awful.
Yeah.
3 starts incredibly well, like really, really well, and then it just, the way it does the mission structure after that, it is literally side missions. You're just doing side missions. Right. And it's like, why am I doing clear out a base missions as part of the main story? It's so bizarre. So I dropped off of that pretty hard. But the intro's incredible. Like what it does with the because it's framed as a documentary, looking back at that time, it's the story seemed to be excellent, and then it just goes weird.
Oh, shame.
Shame.
Last one, Daniel Moore says, now that the PS5 and Series X are imminent, is it time to do a Game of the Generation podcast, or does the overlap for games like Cyberpunk 2077 make it too early?
That's a good idea, man. It's a premium.
Mm-hmm.
It's you'll pay for it, boy.
Yep. Absolutely.
90 quid.
I mean, he's right about like the Cyberpunk stuff, though, right? Like, we definitely can't do it yet.
No, it'd have to be next year, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And do we count stuff that continues to come out on both?
Well, this is it. I mean, where does the Switch sit?
Yeah, and that. Because Nintendo have always been sort of half a step out of everyone else, haven't they? So
don't get me wrong, it doesn't look like they're going to release anything else for it.
No.
So maybe we're okay.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Nintendo.
Game
like,
on
that. They basically thought, okay, COVID's happening, and I mean, they're taking a year off, aren't they? Basically,
I think
it does feel like it. I was saying on WhatsApp the other day, like, given that they can barely get their games to work on the fucking internet, do you think maybe they've just not reacted very well or not responded very well to the whole COVID thing? Like, are they just
possibly?
Do they just not have the infrastructure to do stuff from home if necessary or whatever? Have they just like completely fucking shut down?
No. I mean, that's
I
a bit of a stretch.
At that phase now. We're at that phase now where they're kind of like winding down,
cruising,
for like stuff. Yeah, because and the thing is, because I made this point on Twitter and people got annoyed, and it's like, to be fair, I'm not saying that there are no games to play on Switch and no games are going to come out in the future, but all of the big hitters have come out, apart from Zelda 2, which Breath of the Wild 2, which should come out. We haven't heard anything else about anything, like coming in the next couple of years.
I think those Mario games are done and ready to roll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they're just not. They're not ready to release them into world where most of the shops are still closed, because having the Mario games on a shelf is a big deal.
Yeah,
that's where you walk into a shop and go, "Oh, that Mario! There's a new Mario game out for that Switch."
Mm-hmm.
I think
it's been ages since there's been a direct, hasn't it? It's been
Yeah.
How long has it been since they advertised anything?
A couple of years now.
Well, there's Paper Mario coming out.
Paper Mario.
Paper Mario's coming out on the 17th. So.
Yeah. Oh, Harry wants that, and I keep saying, you do know it's not like a Mario. Like, but he's adamant that he wants it because he's seen seen the adverts on the Switch dashboard or whatever.
But it's just mad they've just like taken a year off. Like, even if it wasn't for COVID, I wonder how. I mean, obviously we never know, but I wonder how different their year would been if it
very
wasn't
different.
for that.
I'm telling you that Mario All Stars 2, that was going to happen. That was going to happen. I'm sure of it.
Like,
there was too much buzz.
You're saying about shops being shut and stuff. Do you think all of these would have physical releases?
Yeah. What the All Stars 2 thing? That absolutely would have had a physical release.
Okay, but 100%. Not if they release those of other ones.
I know it sounds weird to us, but it's like Dave said, it's a corner of the market that is actually really important to Nintendo, isn't it? People who do still wander into game shops and go, "Oh, is there a new Mario?" Yeah, all right.
Name a Nintendo game that hasn't for the Switch that hasn't had a physical release.
The 51 worldwide games
that had a physical release.
Did it? Did they?
Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah,
I thought it did.
I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure.
Against
the ropes there, James. He doesn't know.
I'm not confident anymore. My confidence has gone on that one.
It did come out during COVID, so
I am pretty sure. Google it. I mean, you should have said Tetris 99, but was that officially a Nintendo game? Who knows?
Yes, it was.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well done,
I mean,
Nintendo.
I'm pretty sure. It's insane they've taken a year off. But I thought, okay, maybe they're getting out of the way of like next gen, but no, they're just like, well, we don't need to bother, do we?
Like I say, they famously just aren't really asked about the hardware arms race, aren't they? They're just
or games at the moment.
Well, yeah, just doing anything whatsoever. I'm surprised we've not even. Obviously, we've not had a not E3 event from them. And
they must have been overjoyed. They're like, if you didn't cancel, they must be like popping champagne when E3 was cancelled. Like, brilliant year off, lads. Let's go.
We have to admit that we've got fuck all.
Yeah, we don't have to do a single thing, and we can just. I'll see you next June.
Because what's theoretically still in the chamber? So there's Bayonetta 3. There's new Metroid Prime, but then we know that basically got shit canned and started again not long ago.
Yeah. Breath of the Wild 2.
Breath of the Wild 2, mentioned. Yeah. I mean, that's it, isn't it?
I mean, have we gone for every single Wii U release now? Is that out, apart from
there's still stuff. There's Star Fox is obviously another one that they like to dredge up at some point, which is always disappointing.
And one day they might make a good one again.
Well, they need to just stop remaking the first game and making it slightly worse each time. It's
James,
a shame.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Go on.
Did you Google the 51 Worldwide Games thing, notice there was a physical release and decide not to mention it?
No.
Oh, right, okay. There was a physical release, so I win.
Okay.
Right.
Well,
is that the end of the show?
Dave, I hope that keeps you warm at night.
It fucking does, though, Matt. That's the sad thing.
You win in the most meaningless way possible.
Yeah. Congratulations. Everyone listen to this. Round of applause for Dave.
It's like Charlton Millwall with
well
me
done,
and you.
David.
Every time you step up, you always lose. That's the sad thing. And I find it funny every time. I care less about me winning and more about James losing. That's what the situation is. Right, okay, that's it for this week. Matt, let's go through the socials.
Yeah. Socials. This Friday, James is back and he's streaming Deadly Premonition 2.
No, I'm not.
What? I thought you said that. I thought you go stream on launch day.
I am, but it's not out yet.
I thought it was out on Friday. Is it not?
No.
When's it out?
It's the week after.
Oh, is it set? What day is it coming out?
James is pulling it.
Whatever
James is pulling Nintendo.
Mate, you're plugging it. You should know this,
the week off.
Let me have a look.
It comes out
this is a Matt balls up, isn't it? Or is it a James balls up?
Initial release 10th of July.
Oh shit!
I apologise, Matthew.
Yes.
I apologise.
You're welcome, James.
James, you're streaming Friday Sunshine.
Well, I thought Sean had taken my Friday slot anyway.
No.
So
you knew I hadn't. That was just a temporary arrangement for last week.
The tweet didn't actually say every Friday.
No,
it
but
just says every week.
The way that the tweet was worded made it sound very much like that was
That's just what you wanted to hear.
Yeah, it didn't say every Friday. It said every week. Didn't say every Friday.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be back on Friday for the Deadly Premonition 2.
Oh, mate. Wednesday night, you're doing the spoiler cast. Friday, you're streaming. We've probably got the bonus show next week. Oh, you're going to be gutted.
I know. It's going to be another week, isn't it, of just like every night.
And we got
really,
Ubisoft on Sunday
stuff.
as well.
Yeah, we have. Okay, right. So this Friday, I was right the first time and I'm right again. James is streaming Deadly Premonition 2 this Friday. It comes out on Friday. Like I said, So that's Friday at 9. Very excited to see what that game's like. Have they updated it, or is it basically going to be more the same with a bit of a lick of paint?
I saw some videos and the frame rate looks shocking.
Brilliant. That's Friday at 9. This Sunday, I was normally doing Hitman or Hitmat, but we actually go to a talk server because on Sunday night at 8 o'clock, there's Ubisoft Forward, which is Ubisoft's Naughty 3 show. I think they said it's going to be 45 minutes long. There'll be like Assassin's Creed Valhalla footage, Watch Dogs Legion, probably some other stuff as well. We'll be talking over that this Sunday night from 8 o'clock. Or no, we'll probably be live from like at about 10 to 8. So no Hitman this week, unfortunately, but that's going to be live from about 10 to 8 on Sunday. And on Tuesday, Sean is back for Play by the Bell.
Yeah, mate.
Is that it? Have I caught everything?
I think that's it, yeah.
Yeah, I think you have. I think
cool.
you have.
If you've got Amazon Prime, my God, you've got Twitch Prime. So please check your accounts, give us a free sub. We really appreciate it, and you'll get a shout out if you do it when we're streaming live. We're on patreon.com/TCGS. There's a July's bonus show. It'll be out next week. I'm very excited to talk about to go on that. I think it'd be quite good fun. And it's tcgs.co, which is a website for everything else. There's a store there. There's other stuff. I didn't forget one thing. There's going to be a Last of Us 2 spoilercast out on Friday as well.
We've mentioned that. Right, so we will catch you next week. Thank you so much for living it. We'll catch you next week. Have a great time.
Say week.
Have a great week.
Have a great week.
Do it.
Just
have a great week. What's the problem?
Yeah, stop fucking arguing.
Yeah.
Good night. Goodbye.
Good night.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Was that a kiss?
No, that was...
Did someone kiss?
It might have been. Oh, God. Right, okay, let's go. Goodbye.
Bye.